left. Maybe this was kind of
his last gift to us.
This was his last thing. Okay, now Funches is coming in.
Okay.
Oh,
Jeez,
Funches, no smile.
Parker's coming in.
Parker's
okay.
coming in. Come on in, Parker.
What happened?
He's
Someone
just
left a
coming
piece
to
of gum
adjust.
on the mouse pad?
Okay,
Right
look.
there, man.
Look right here.
Oh, look at the way he asks, like he has no idea what
No,
happened.
I didn't even chew a piece of gum yesterday.
No, Funches can't. He literally can't.
Yeah.
He can't be in the mix here because of when their show ended.
Did he have to leave when the show ended?
No, but unless nobody's saying anything for 3 hours that there's gum there. The other thing is, too, we have such high security in these studios, right? Like when YouTube ends, we stay live streamed up until our show starts again. And there's always an intern back there just in case something breaks, right? I just wonder if there's any footage left over
All right,
but
this is what happens. There's no cameras back here this week.
Yeah, there's no camera on us over here.
We don't
this
have that
week,
this week.
There's no cameras back there.
And when there's a camera, there was
Come
never
on,
a gum
man.
left behind.
There's been cameras back there for months.
There is one more suspect, though, that we have to at least acknowledge.
Okay.
Jorge. The man who found
Wow.
the gum. The man who found the gum. The man who brought our attention to this. Is
there
there
have
a reason?
been people that called the cops even though they committed the crime.
Is there a reason that Jorge wants us to know about this? Perhaps Jorge, he's got, a new schedule coming up, baby coming, stuff like that. Maybe he came to realize, what would be better for me? The afternoon show. How am I going to get that show? I need to get.
You just got
I
here.
need to
I'm
get
gonna up you
Laura
one.
disciplined.
I'm going to up you one. The first person in the new studio was Emily this morning.
No.
What about Emily?
I am,
She's
phoning
on
it
the
in
list, too.
today. I am going to Disney after this. Going to see Taylor tomorrow. I'm on my way out.
And Emily, as somebody who's so thorough as a producer, could say, I don't want to try to find topics. I don't want to sit here on the day before I'm going to go watch Taylor
I'm
Swift.
going to go plant something.
Why don't I put a piece of gum on the mouse pad and then let that be our opening conversation for the first 12
I'm Googling
minutes?
right now, does Taylor Swift chew green gum?
I'm like method acting here. I'm just getting into her headspace by chewing gum.
I would like to hear from those who would defend themselves in this situation. Because right now, out of all the names that we named, the only thing I could line up is if from timing by the end of the show, is it Laura, our prime suspect right now?
Okay, so I think that our two prime suspects are Brian and Laura. Our two board ops that were not here, so obviously we have Jorge, but the two board ops not on this show.
Here's the problem I have with Laura.
Okay.
I know Laura. Laura's not leaving gum on a mouse pad. She's just not. She's not going to.
I don't know. How do you know that? You're so sure about it.
I just feel like I know Laura enough where she's
Laura
not gonna
does
leave.
feel like somebody who would cover her tracks. Like, Laura doesn't seem like somebody who'd be sloppy like this.
No,
I have
But
to
she
say.
does seem like a gum chewer.
She does seem like a gum chewer. And Laura does seem like somebody that if she wanted to leave a message, she'd probably be least afraid of any of the board ops to do it. Laura's not one to trifle with.
Well, listen, if you think that this is just the conversation for our opening segment and it's just going to go away, oh, no, it's just getting started.
Oh, no. It's August, baby.
I might come back in at 7 if you're available tonight. When we go to network programming, I'd like to continue our conversation.
Oh, here's another person throw this out there. It's from Rich A. Okay, also here's why. Another reason why it might be Laura. So they had Ike's yesterday. They had that sandwich shop, Ike's sandwich shop, come in and bring them stuff.
right.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's right.
she
I
could
saw
have been
Mace.
having gum, take it out of her mouth, put it on the mouse pad, eat part of a sandwich,
Yeah.
and then forget about the gum.
But so could Brian.
But so could Brian.
But AK, I think we go back to the same thing that we said. Even if you're going to go enjoy that great sandwich, Mason had it on social yesterday. It looked like a delicious sandwich.
It did look good.
Aren't you either taking your gum and putting it on the wrapper of your sandwich, or are you then not putting it in the trash can and getting just a fresh
Do
piece
we
of
know
gum?
whether or not the Ike's guy ate a sandwich as well? Because perhaps the Ike's guy
Is looking for more promotion and got a mention in our show, even though we didn't even have
all
one of
it
the
takes is
sandwiches.
just leaving a little gum behind,
That's it.
throwing Brian or Laura under the bus. We're talking about Ike's.
I texted Brian. We'll see if he will come on and defend himself. So we'll have Brian on first to defend himself in this case.
All right, I just got a text from a few of the Disney board members, and it looks like they're also looking into it as well.
I got a text from Maury. He says he's in.
Tim in the OC just tweeted us in the Travis and Sliwa community. Let's do a blame pie that you and your brother invented, Andy, for the Gumgate, but put 1% on Frank McCourt.
Okay.
Because we always left 1% for Frank
It's
McCourt.
always 1%. Always 1%. All right, we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're probably not going to get to the bottom of it, but we're going to keep looking to get to the bottom of it. There's been something going on over the last 24 hours. We won't spend too much time on it, but the Big Ten
We got to leave room for the big stuff.
The Big Ten is inviting Oregon and Washington. What that means for USC and UCLA. Part of the reason why USC and UCLA, at least from a lot of those reports, they didn't want to get any more West Coast schools a part of the Big Ten. It looks like that's going to happen. Plus, the Dodgers and the Padres start a 4-game set tonight in San Diego. We'll start talking about that as well. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show. No idea who chewed the gum. 710 ESPN. All right, for the ones who get it done, Grainger offers high-quality supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
710 ESPN is your
find another like me.
This is her worst song, everybody. Sorry for your ears. This song is my least favorite Taylor Swift song.
Bad song. I don't like the
She's done
energy
better.
of it.
She's done better.
This song is terrible.
I mean,
This is the one that sounds like it was like written for someone else originally, and they're
Yeah.
like, you know what, Taylor, you want to do it?
And she's like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Put on Brandon Urie from...
Yeah, this sounds like it was meant for someone else. Like this part here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just having a very difficult time trying to figure out the whole gum situation. You think there's a chance they cancel Taylor Swift's concert just because of all the drama that's going on inside our studio?
Also, one thing from the concert last night that I think is really great, and people were tagging me in it and stuff, is the Bryants went to the Taylor Swift concert last night, the Eras Tour, Vanessa and her daughters. And Taylor Swift, at the end, during her song 22, she always has one fan come up and kind of get honored, gets a little hat from Taylor. Taylor usually has an interaction with them, and then continues on with her show. And she chose Bianca Bryant, Kobe and Vanessa's youngest daughter.
That's
and
really
it was a
sweet.
very sweet moment. If you haven't seen the video, it's like makes your heart happy. And someone put both like a picture of Kobe and Taylor hugging and a picture of Taylor and Bianca hugging, and it's really heartwarming. And I'm glad that they had that opportunity and that relationship is so.
Yeah, I
sweet.
saw it on Twitter where I think it was Vanessa Bryant took the photo, and that's a cool moment. Very
very
cool
sweet.
moment. Yeah. ESPNLA and Hollywood Park Casino are giving 12 fantasy football commissioners the chance to win a fantasy football season experience, including the ultimate fantasy draft party for their ESPN fantasy football leagues and weekly prizes throughout the season. Register now at ESPNLA.com. Scroll for the Hollywood Park Casino logo. Very, very easy to do. Make sure you do it. And we'll see you on Friday, August 18th at HPC, Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, draft. Laura's coming on at 10:30, you said?
Yes.
To defend her life. Laura did go to Twitter and says, "Why is my name being thrown out there? I already told Jorge I wasn't chewing gum, and I wasn't the
Wow.
last in the studio. I ain't worried. I'm chilling."
Okay, on one hand,
I don't think it was Laura.
solid
I'm with Laura on
alibi.
this.
Solid alibi. On the other hand, that is exactly what somebody who chewed gum would say.
You know, you are so much more. You'd be a really good detective. Because the moment they
I
just
love-
look at me and they say, "I didn't do it," I'm like, guys, she just said she didn't
Some
do
of
it.
my-
It's over.
Some of my favorite shows.
Next person. You actually have a follow-up question.
Yeah, some of my worst interrogator ever.
What did you have from Ike's?
Like Alan walks in, the guy with the suspect. He was found with a bloody knife in his hand.
He's holding the knife. There's blood all over him.
He says he didn't do it, guys.
You were cutting up
What
chicken?
am I supposed to do?
My hands are tied. He said he didn't do it.
The guy was cooking carne asada. Can we move on to the next suspect?
Outside
The
in
glove
an
didn't
alley
fit.
next to the body. What am I supposed to do?
If it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. All right.
Alan's the one guy going, OJ said he didn't do this. Why can't we just let him off?
I'm with Laura. I don't think Laura did it. All right? That's what I'm going to do. 10:30, she'll come on. For those who are just tuning in right now, somebody put gum on the mouse pad that, according to Funches, that mouse pad, and I don't disagree with this. He said that mouse pad's been sitting there since the Lakers championship. Not 2020. He said 2010.
No, not that.
We
not
got
that
the
bad.
rights to the Lakers in 2009. So the chances that mouse pad's been there since 2010, I
Maybe
would not
this
be.
one.
Oh my god!
And definitely has not been cleaned.
Maybe
has
this
not
Wait,
been,
is that the one or that's
No,
the
no,
one now?
This is the one that is on the other side.
Does that say Minneapolis Lakers on it?
This is the new one.
Oh man. Oh, that's the one with the gum.
Yeah.
Do you guys have cameras on you or no?
Nah.
Can you bring
today.
that to AK so AK can show
Nah.
people on the YouTube?
flip it like the Waba Grill sign.
Show
No,
it on
no.
the
I
YouTube.
already flipped one thing. I'm not flipping
I'm just
two
saying, just
things
show
around
it
here.
at least on the YouTube right here. Can they just see? Somebody straight up put Wrigley spearmint gum on the right side of the mouse pad and just either forgot or was ready to chew it back again but had to leave.
Yeah. So like Alan's like, Laura said she didn't do it. What are we gonna do? I'm like,
she's done.
Laura, open up your mouth. I am comparing teeth marks to the indentures on this gum.
Guy, dang.
Dude, some of my favorite shows, The Shield, Homicide Life on the Streets. Like I know
Monk.
about police
good one.
interrogation.
Reno 911.
911, Brooklyn 99.
Hey, how funny was Reno 911?
It was a funny show.
That show was hilarious. All right, so I think then you've become the lead detective.
Well, I think it's clear.
I think
you're,
naturally you have become the lead detective.
it's clear.
in
You're
this
good cop. I'm bad cop.
I'm just going to keep asking the person we're interrogating. Can I get you another coffee? Get the person another bag of chips here. Okay, so we'll have Laura on at 10:30. Big Ten, this was... Can I just give you my quick little roller coaster here? Just somebody that went to San Diego State University. Let me give you my little roller coaster that just happened. Last night, before we went to bed, I think everybody's just expecting the Pac-12 is done. Arizona says there's a good chance Arizona is going to join the Big 12. And then this morning we wake up and there's some reports out there that, hey, Oregon and Washington's conversation with the Big Ten did not go as planned. I don't know if you know, AK, but it looks like the amount of money they're going to get in the Big Ten is going to be about half of what the other schools are getting. And there's also about $10 million of expenses that would go to a school like Oregon because of the, you're obviously everything has changed now with the travel, how much further, and the costs that go to it. So then there was, hey, let's have an emergency meeting of the Pac-12. And USC, I've read a lot of reports that USC is not trying to get Oregon and Washington in the Big Ten. They don't have interest to. They want to dominate the West Coast. I'm sure UCLA has similar interests as well. They get into their meeting this morning, and the thought was maybe this thing is going to survive. The only reason why I tie San Diego State in is the reports were they would be the 10th school for the Pac-12. And now the news is coming out. The Big Ten will invite Oregon and Washington to join the league. Nothing happened this morning that was going to change the Pac-12 surviving. Sources, Big Ten expected to move ahead with formal letters for Oregon and Washington. A Big Ten vote expected to take place later today to formalize their admission. And it says, sources said a vote by the conference later today expected to be unanimous. It sounds like today we will have the death of the Pac-12. It
is a final.
The rich the rich history, the obviously
Roars.
the rich history, obviously the Pac-12. The moment you said this yesterday, and I think most people would agree, the moment SC and UCLA decided they were leaving, college sports. You said this also earlier in the week. We tried to pretend it was about the athletes. We tried to pretend that it was, hey, yeah, but they're getting free education. Really what they were trying to do is milk as much money as long as possible. And now we're, I think, at least at a stage where athletes can take advantage of what their worth is. They could take advantage of how much money the schools are making off of them. And the universities have all decided, it's not that this is new or anything, wherever we can get the most money is what we're going to do. I think the head coach. We'll actually have to try to find this clip. I'll find it at some point here. I want to say it was the head coach of Washington State. Had a really, really good quote where he's basically like, at some point we knew that money was going to kill college athletics. Maybe we're there right now.
I mean, first of all, it depends on how you define kill it.
It is a final.
It is killing a lot of the traditions of college football and college sports. There's no question about that. But as long as the games are still great, you hopefully create new traditions that come from this. If the entertainment product is still a strong entertainment product, I think in the end people will get used to this and it will survive. It's going to be different, I guess in certain ways less romanticized, but the reality is everybody has been chasing the money for a long time. There was a period where fewer people were allowed to as just openly and nakedly chase the money. So I think in some ways you could look past it and pretend this was something that it wasn't. But as far as the Pac-12 goes, the minute SC and UCLA jumped ship, it was over. It's like I've heard Ireland, all the time being like, what are they doing? Like, they need to fix this. Like, what is the Pac-12 doing sitting on their hand? Like, it's done. It's been done. Like, today may have been the day where the Pac-12, I guess, officially died. Like, you have a funeral, if we want to talk about this in more medical terms, like the autopsy's done, whatever. But it was dead unofficially the minute SC and UCLA left. Like, they lost not just the LA market, they lost so much prestige and so much tradition, like so much of what the Pac-12 was associated with in the first place was USC and UCLA. The minute they were gone, the conference had changed at that point permanently. It's not the same conference.
Well, I think you said something that when somebody says, hey, college football is dead or this and that, if you're going to ask me, and we've had these, Travis and I have had these conversations, if you're going to ask me, just think about what's going to happen in Southern California for a quick second in the college football landscape. I'm going to leave basketball to the side for a second. In the college football landscape, there's going to be games, AK, where you and I are sitting here on a Friday, and we're talking about, damn, Ohio State is coming into town
Yeah.
tomorrow to take on USC at the Coliseum. And then the following week, we're going to talk about Michigan's number 4 in the country. They're going to the Rose Bowl to take on UCLA. The product, what's happening is basically instead of you face these schools only if you're in the playoff championship or you're in the Tostitos or the Orange Bowl, whatever it is, they're going to become a part of the regular season. So really what it's becoming, not that much different what all these sports are, where in Major League Baseball, you're not the Dodgers are not just going to face the Yankees because it's the World Series. They're going to face them because you're going to face every single team at least once a year. It's just, and granted, you're still going to play the A's and some of these other schools. Maybe it's not the best example. You're just basically taking the most profitable of the schools, the ones that have the most interest, the ones that have the most pocketbooks or whatever you want to call it, and you're bringing those games into October and November.
You're really consolidating the schools that matter in the end. Like, the conferences may change, but it's always been like a handful of like 20 schools in college football that perennially matter. The rest are just kind of window dressing and there to fill out the conferences so you can say that you have a conference.
Yeah.
But
Can I tell you why I thought there was a small chance that the Pac-12 would survive? I thought that because they're going to expand the playoffs and they're going to eventually go to 8 and then they're eventually going to go to 12, I thought Oregon and Washington would say to themselves, one of us are getting into that tournament no matter what happens, because if you don't even have to run the table anymore. If you got 8 or 12 teams going in the college football playoff, and if the goal of a school like Oregon and Washington is let's just get in,
okay,
I thought they would stay because of that.
When we come back, though, to talk about this,
The gum?
there's after the gum, I
Yeah,
guess.
because Laura's at 10:30.
There's a flip side to that argument, though, as far as Oregon and a school like them looking to run the table. There's
Yeah.
a flip side of the argument with staying in the Pac-12.
Are we calling it Gumgate?
Gumgate. Oh, it's
Gumgate.
obviously Gumgate.
Wrigley-gate?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know yet. It could be.
Right.
I think it looks like Gatorade gum.
It could.
Gator gum.
Could be extra.
Could
Five
be
gum.
5.
Could be 5.
Yeah, it's Gumgate for now.
It's Gumgate right now.
Until we get more specific, until we grill
Yeah,
the
is
person into the specifics.
Is it safe to say that maybe I can't interrogate well, but I marketed Gumgate at least decently there?
I mean, I think anyone could have come up with Gumgate,
Yeah, I
Alan.
know.
I got to be honest. Like,
But you didn't. I did.
I could have called it
All right,
mouse
it's time for a
pad
break,
gate.
guys.
Relax.
all right.
I'm taking full credit.
Okay.
Say it.
Yeah. Why don't you call the Watergate people? Let them know that you're taking ownership of this.
All right, we got Laura coming up next. I know we got a couple calls on this Pac-12 stuff as well, so we'll get into that as well. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
So Al and I are teaming up for your chance to win an entire office full of lunch from Waba Grill. So you're going to want to be listening all day during the 12 o'clock lunch hour for your cue to call to pick up food for the entire office, courtesy of Waba Grill.
We got some ribeye, we got some chicken, we got some shrimp.
I'm making it sound like I cooked them myself.
Look at these boom boom tacos. You can visit wabagrill.com. You can order online. Just go on in, get yourself some of these tacos. Visit your local Waba Grill location. Of course, walk right in. Of course, you can order online for delivery or pickup. Waba Grill, right? Eat smart, be healthy. Boom boom, kaboom.
On 710 ESPN.
I have one correction to make here, and I can no longer take credit for Gumgate. About 18 minutes ago, Beto and Whittier said Gumgate. So legally, I can no longer use Gumgate and take credit for it. Beto and Whittier did it about 16 minutes ago.
I mean, look, it's Beto and Whittier's for these purposes. I got to be honest, anybody could have come up with it. I think Beto was the first in front of a laptop when it came to establishing Gumgate. No offense to Beto. He's great. He's been to a bunch of our events. He's awesome. But, like, this was not difficult to come up with.
All right,
it's mine.
Beto. I already made shirts. Beto is also Laura that we're taking Laura's side. So Laura's on the line right now. Laura, first off, thank you for coming on with us. We know you got a busy day later, but thank you for joining us at 10:35. Listen, it's a very important day. We're just trying to figure it out. I'm going to kind of leave you the floor here to defend yourself because when you sent out the tweet that you didn't do it, that's all I needed. AK might be a little bit more aggressive in this investigation.
I mean, Laura, you know how these things go.
He chose violence this morning. It's okay.
There's got to be a good cop and a bad cop in order to get to the truth of any investigation, Laura. It's
Laura,
nothing
can I get you
personal.
a coffee? Can I get you a coffee or anything while you sit down? Let me. I'm just got to try to smooth it over a little.
It's the People's Court playing in the back.
All right, Laura, talk to us here. Help us out here. There's gum, and all we know is there's gum on a mouse pad, and I think you were the last local show yesterday, so instantly there's some eyes drawn towards you.
Okay, so here I am minding my own business, starting my day, and I get a text message, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Then I start getting tweets at me, so I'm like, I got asked, hey, what's going on? And I get it. We were the last local show. That is very true.
Mm-hmm. You did have Ike's.
That doesn't mean... We did have Ike's, but we did not. I mean, here's the thing, guys. If you were listening, Sedano threw it to something else. So, yes, we were the last local show. But was I the last in the studio? No. So here's my thing. Like, I get that you guys can assume that it was me, which it was not. I'm not really worried because I know it wasn't me.
I could tell.
It just wasn't me. But the fact that my name was thrown out there after I very, very confidently told somebody, hey, it wasn't me, check with so-and-so. I'm not going to say who so-and-so is because, I'm not trying to put other people's names out there like that.
Not chivato.
But, what?
You're not a chivato.
I'm not. I'm just saying there was other people in that studio after me. It was not me.
Well, Laura, isn't it also safe?
Laura,
isn't it also safe to say, if you were chewing gum, and I said this a little bit earlier, I know Laura well enough that she's not going to put her gum on the mouse pad because those mouse pads are, let's just say, they're a little old.
Right, but it's always possible. It's always possible that somebody put the gum on the mouse pad, not with the intention of putting it back in their mouth, but simply because they needed to, say, eat an Ike sandwich and just was looking for the quickest place to put the gum, planned on properly disposing it.
Oh, wait, hold up. What do you think? Okay, first of all, let me bring my mom into this because when I got that message, I was having breakfast with my mom.
I'm not accusing your mother of anything, Laura. I want to make it clear.
Hold on. I was like, whoa, Mom, I just got accused of some nasty stuff. I said a different word. You guys can believe it, But my mom's like, what happened? So I told her, and she goes, wait, who accused you? I'm like, Jorge. And she's like, and she said a lot of words in Spanish that I cannot repeat on these airwaves. And she said,
it's
what
Friday.
did he
You can repeat
like,
it.
I know. We cannot. But she said, he knows this house. He knows me. He knows how I raised you. How dare he even ask that it was you? And I was like, thank you. So
people change. People change.
No, people do not change, bro. Not like that.
I mean,
so
your mom now may be called.
My mom is mad.
Your mom now may be called as a criminal witness. Like, you understand this now. At this point,
it's all good. It's all in Spanish, but someone can translate.
All right, Laura, I have a question for you. So, if you did have to have gum, what gum do you eat? Chew.
Okay, I was like, I don't eat gum. I chew gum.
Right.
Sometimes you got to swallow it.
So I am like the diamond ice one.
Okay.
Oh, that one's green.
The diamond eyes. That one's not green. It's
No,
white.
it's white. Yeah, that one's white.
Yeah, without your germs, it turns green.
Oh,
I don't know what kind of germs you got, bro. Not mine.
Describe.
I think.
Describe your molar indentures, Laura. What is the shape of your molars?
I just went to the dentist, guys.
Interesting. Another character witness to call.
Like, my dentist said my teeth were amazing for my age. I was like, oh, thank you.
Okay, let me ask you
Good
another
gum
question.
chewing teeth, one might say.
Did you see the gum on the mouse pad before you started your shift?
No, that's gross.
Okay.
I would have
Yeah, it's
called
impossible.
another person out.
It's not
immediately.
impossible. She could have just not seen it.
It's
No,
impossible. She'd see it.
here's the thing. Like, I wanted to be like, okay, maybe the person before me, because, you know, it's a guy and guys tend to be a little bit more icky. But the thing is that I would have seen that and I would have called him out immediately.
Okay.
So I'm, you know.
Laura, we appreciate you coming in and defending yourself.
Did
I'm
you have
sorry.
cebolla on your sandwich yesterday? That's onions.
I have a what?
Cebolla on your sandwich yesterday.
Did it have it? I didn't eat I just ate the meat. I just ate the protein, bro.
Okay.
So I didn't eat
All right,
onions.
fair enough.
All right, Laura, listen, the investigation is going to continue. I said this before we chatted. You're clearly not guilty. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I think it's safe to say that Laura is not a prime suspect anymore.
I appreciate that, Alan.
She might not be
And
a
you know
prime
what,
suspect,
Andy?
but she is a person
No,
of
Andy.
interest.
No, Andy, you as someone who has, both of y'all, you don't mess with a Latina, especially in the morning when they're having their coffee. So I'm a little bit.
I
opposed
live
to
with
y'all.
a Latina every morning before she has her coffee, Laura. You're not going to frighten me.
Okay. You know who would frighten you, Andy? My mama.
She might.
Mama.
That
That's
part,
true.
Yeah, that
That
part's
is true.
That part's true.
That is
Okay.
All right, Laura.
absolutely true.
Thank you.
Tell your mother thank you.
We still got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work left in this negotiation. Investigation.
By the way, you are of no help whatsoever when it comes to getting to the bottom of this.
She said no. The Travis and Sliwa Show has teamed up with Waba Grill to give away lunch for your office. Listen today during the Waba Grill lunch hour on 710. For the cue to
Look,
call.
Laura, you could not possibly have done this, but for the sake of this investigation, would you just say so?
For the cue to call, and you could be the Waba Grill Workplace of the Week. So that's today on 710 ESPN. Thanks to Waba Grill. Waba Grill, eat smart, be healthy. We got Ask Lee coming up next. Hopefully a lot of these Ask Lees are also about us as investigative reporters. We'll do that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN. All right, we are experiencing a roadway safety crisis, and we need your help. Join the Go Safely movement and share your thoughts on what actions are needed to make our roads safer. We're really, really trying to find, as best as we can, as many local residents out here in Southern California to just give their input and their thoughts on different ways of making the road safer. And if you want to be a part of this, all we're asking, Go Safely California is asking you to take a brief survey. The website that you go to is gosafelyca.org. GoSafelyCA.org and take a brief survey. Go Safely California from the California Office of Traffic Safety.
So Al and I are teaming up for your chance to win an entire office full of lunch from Waba Grill. So you're going to want to be listening all day during the 12 o'clock lunch hour for your cue to call to pick up food for the entire office, courtesy of Waba Grill.
We got some ribeye, we got some chicken, we got some shrimp.
I'm making it sound like I cooked them myself.
Look at these boom boom tacos. You can visit wabagrill.com. You can order online. Just go on in, get yourself some of these tacos. Visit your local Waba Grill location. Of course, walk right in. Of course, you can order online for delivery or pickup. Waba Grill, right? Eat smart, be healthy. Boom boom, kaboom.
Ask Slee is presented by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Let's get to it. Ask Slee right now.
All right, time for another Michelob Ultra watch party to support the women's national team. Join us tomorrow in the city of Anaheim at Angelo's Burgers starting at 6 p.m. for a pregame party and happy hour. 511 South State College Boulevard. Chris Morales and the 710 Street team will be there with fabulous prizes to give away, presented, of course, by Michelob Ultra, proud supporter of Team USA. If you got some Asleys, send them in right now. If you want to get on the phones, you can get on the phones, 877-710-ESPN. And what do you got over there?
All right, so first one's up from Chrissy. I'm going to ask both of you this question. All right, so would you rather put that chewed piece of gum in your mouth or pull a mace, run around the studio in your underpants, and wave to the boss while he's having a meeting? So, Slee, you start.
So I think we came to the conclusion it's like a minty. It's mint.
We don't know.
It's definitely
for
lost
sure.
all of its flavor by now.
mint,
You want
right?
to smell it? I don't.
Yeah, I'll go with the gum. Take the gum.
Ugh.
Probably chew it for like a half hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Ugh.
If it's not that bad, go another hour.
How long does the gum have to stay in your mouth?
I say it has to stay in your
Half
mouth
hour.
for
A segment.
A segment, yeah.
Oof. That is rough.
Yeah.
What is my relationship with Sam Pines like? Like, how does this work if I run by
I will tell
his
you,
office?
You
in a
can
meeting?
justify it saying that it's a bit that's part
Oh,
of
I
a
was just
show,
gonna
kind of like
say,
what happened with Mace.
Sam will 100% be like, okay, sounds good. So you had to pick between those two. Cool. I'm glad you came in with your clothes off.
I think I decently pull it off. I'll take the underwear.
Okay, Jorge, you answer the question too.
Hey, is Sam here? I'll be back.
He's not here.
Yeah, right.
All right, this one's from Andrew G, and he says, and this is again to both of you guys, when you show up to a party, what are you more excited to see, a Taco Man or an In-N-Out truck? If they were both there, what would you be more excited to see?
This was kind of easy for me.
Yeah.
Me too.
I want to see the taco guy. I want to see, and maybe this, I don't know. I think they probably lined up better for me. There's a lot of times where alcohol and Mexican food go great together, but there's just the vibe of having a taco guy at a party that's amazing, that's incredible. Travis always told a story, still one of my favorite stories, where he communicated with the taco guy. He got in line. He asked the taco guy, hey, how long are you going to be here? He's like, bro, I'm here all night. So he kind of went small on his first portion, and by the time he went back for the second portion, the taco guy was already gone. I don't want that situation to take place, but it seems like a taco guy in a party is just a perfect marriage.
Yeah, I'm going taco as well. For me, it's not even close. I like In-N-Out, but the thing that would make me most excited about an In-N-Out truck at a party is it's one of the rare times you can get In-N-Out without waiting forever, without dealing with that line.
Not all the time. Have you ever seen one of those? They got the trucks, and it's for an entire office, whatever. It's like now the line is around the corner just to get the In-N-Out there.
Either way, though, I'd rather have the taco truck. I like tacos more than I like burgers.
Yeah.
All right, Jorge, what about you?
The music playing in the background, the tacos, you get the pastor, you get the chorizo, you get the chicken, the asadas at the end. You get, tacos all day.
Yeah, there's more variety with
yes,
tacos.
beer, the whole night. The music,
It's
tacos.
perfect together.
Taco man.
Some of the
Taquero.
and we see this all the time too, especially in LA. Got this in San Diego as well. Sometimes you're just driving around in neighborhoods, and there's a taco guy right there. You can stop at any time, get some of the best, most authentic tacos.
It's always
or
tempting.
Mexican food. Yeah.
All right, so this one's from Crypto Ray, and he says, #AskSlee, and I'm going to ask all of you. You can be stuck in an age for the rest of your life. What age would that be? Al, start with you.
Stuck at an age your entire life. I'll go 30. I think it's like your young age, awesome, cool, everything is all great, but you're just also, you don't have enough experience in life. I don't think you want to also be 50, and I think 30 for me sounds like the right age where you can still do anything you want, athletically, this, that. At the same time, it feels like your mind is catching up to everything else. I'll go 30. That's the right age.
I thought about 30 as well. Just for a little variety, maybe I'll go like 33. But that ballpark, I think, is perfect. Like
it's a good little age right there.
You're just young enough to still feel really good, to not feel old, but you're just old enough to feel like you're not a complete idiot.
Kind of know what you're doing.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll be
a little
honest.
more financially stable, probably.
Yeah, a little bit more. Like, I have no real desire to, like, go back to, like, my 20s. Like, my daughter's asked me before, like, you know, would you want to go back to college or relive college? I'm like, not really.
I'm with you.
I had fun.
It was exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of living.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
think about the way you used to. You're at SC. I was at San Diego State. If I had to go back, like, even if they just said, "Hey, do you want to be 21 again at San Diego State for a weekend?" I'm like, no, I don't know if I do. Okay, maybe a weekend.
Would
that's
you guys
fine.
both have your hair at 30?
Oh, I would. Yes,
Yeah, I
that's
would
part
have.
of the reason I go
Okay,
back.
okay.
33, I was still going strong, man.
Well, I'm strong
good.
on the sides and the back. It's just up here.
Oh, if you want to,
Up here, it fell asleep.
if
man.
you and I want to go Hulk Hogan, we can absolutely throw it out.
All right, Jorge, what about you?
Yeah,
That's
with the
pretty
guys,
funny.
30. 30, I think is the right
There's
age.
right age,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think 30 is one because you're already where you wanted to be when you were 21, 22. So at 30, you kind of just cruise from there.
And you can
figure
still
out,
go play full court basketball for 2 hours and
Or
you know
soccer, yeah.
and be fine.
So this one's a question from Emily in LA Live. So I was hanging out with my friends yesterday, and one of my friends, she's getting married next year, and she's talking about how one of her best friends, and I've met this friend too, is dating someone whom they do not really care for, and they really do not want him to come to the wedding, but it's a destination wedding, so it's kind of par for the course to invite a +1 if someone has a significant other.
Sure.
So, one, are they within their right to say that she should not bring the boyfriend? And two, they've been trying to devise plans to maybe try to break them up. So have you ever tried to break up a friend of yours with their significant other? So I'll ask that question around.
Not my business. I mean, and trust me, I've had some friends where I'm like, really? Like this one? And it could be for whatever reason. Maybe her personality, whatever the case is. But that's a really tough call to try to get in somebody. And plus, you want him to make that decision one way or the other. I'm not trying to get into the mix of that. Shows up to the wedding, shows up to the wedding. They don't.
But are they
don't.
within their rights to say to not have her best friend have a +1?
You're not
If
going to have a
everybody
best
else-
friend after that.
Yeah, I was going to say, if everybody else is getting that +1, you got to give.
I mean, you are not
You're
going to have your best friend
AK.
after that.
AK, she's the only one that
Right.
doesn't get a +1.
Right,
from
exactly.
I mean, I don't get a +1, but I don't have a significant other, so that's kind of where if
Right.
they have someone like that.
You are going to lose your best friend over this. Your boyfriend is so terrible, you're the only person who doesn't get a +1 bestie. Yeah, have fun with that conversation.
All right, Jorge, what about you?
Yeah, I don't care if they come over. Plus, it's not my business to like say, "Hey, I don't like your girl or your guy."
Yeah.
If they don't come to the wedding, great. If they do come to the wedding, look, there's other people that I want to be around, and I don't have to pay attention to that person. So, hey,
I think I accidentally, though, broke up a friend of mine and his then girlfriend.
Accident.
How did that happen?
His girlfriend at the time.
She left gum on a mouse pad.
And I went nuts with the interrogation. She had an Oscar party, and like my friend invited me and some of our other friends over for that Oscar party, and I didn't really know his girlfriend at the time that well. I'd only met her a few times, but it was very clear she had with this Oscar party. You know, you did like the pool. You know, trying to predict winners. You put in like $10 each, whatever. Winner takes it all. It's very clear she organized this pool because she thought she'd win. Like she was actually looking to win this thing. I won it. And she was mad. Like she was outwardly mad. At one point I pulled my friend aside. I'm like, dude, is everything okay? Like she can keep the money if she wants. She's like, no, dude, take it. You won. They broke up a couple weeks later. So I'm wondering if I actually pushed them over the top and broke them up.
That's kind of good to have under your belt. Like you can break up any couple at any time. That's something
He did better with his eventual wife. His eventual wife is awesome.
Have you ever been
he should have said thank you. That's what you're trying to say.
Have you ever been a matchmaker though? Have you ever set up someone and they ended up, being together forever?
Nah.
No.
I have one person that they are now married. That's the only person I have but I set them up, and so I take credit for that.
I was going to say that's got to feel pretty good. Now, if it didn't work out, then
who knows? The story's still being written.
All right, Ashley is brought to you by Harris Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harris Resort SoCal, voted best resort in Funner, California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrissocal.com. Appreciate everybody that tweeted us there for Ask Slee. We come back. Dodgers and the Padres are about to start a 4-game set. And something happened yesterday in the Angels game that I think probably describes the frustration, not just of Angel fans, but fans that just want to see Shohei Ohtani make a postseason run. We'll get into all that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, John Ireland here. To build a winning team, you have
So Al and I are teaming up for your chance to win an entire office full of lunch from Waba Grill. So you're going to want to be listening all day during the 12 o'clock lunch hour for your cue to call to pick up food for the entire office, courtesy of Waba Grill.
We got some ribeye, we got some chicken, we got some shrimp.
I'm making it sound like I cooked them myself. Look at these boom boom tacos.
You can visit wabagrill.com. You can order online. Just go on in, get yourself some of these tacos. Visit your local Waba Grill location. Of course, walk right in. Of course, you can order online for delivery or pickup. Waba Grill, right? Eat smart, be healthy. Boom boom, kaboom.
All right, the Travis and Sliwa Show have teamed up with Waba Grill to give away lunch for your office. Listen today during the Waba Grill lunch hour on 710 for your cue to call, and you could be the Waba Grill Workplace of the Week. How cool is that? This is part of our partnership with Waba Grill. Of course, they got the new Boom Boom Tacos. So coming up a little bit later today, you got a chance to win your office Waba Grill. Waba Grill Workplace of the Week. That's today on 710 ESPN. Thanks to Waba Grill. Waba Grill, eat smart, be healthy. I want to play something, and we're going to get into the Dodgers and the Padres series, but Shohei Ohtani hit his 40th home run yesterday. We'll play it in just a few minutes here, but a couple things happened that, man, this is so frustrating, and unfortunately this is just the position that Shohei Ohtani is in and the Angels. Shohei hit his 40th, and that's the headline. Ohtani hits his 40th. Now, he started the game, had some soreness, only pitched 4 innings, took himself out. It was 0-0 when he came out. When I see somebody say Shohei got his 40th, I'm assuming the Angels won that game just simply because, usually you're promoting. I know Shohei's the great. I know how great he is. I know 40 home runs. It's unbelievable. Leads the AL, everything else. Take a quick listen here to the call, and then I want to talk about what was frustrating.
Since his last home run. But he drives this one to right field. Back to watch it go as Can's on. This is 40.
That's a great call right there, and I love the. By the way, I'm a big fan. You make the call, and then you kind of just let it marinate.
Mm-hmm.
You let the fans. You know what that sounds like to me, AK? That sounds like a team that is in contention. That sounds like a team that's trying to make a playoff push. That sounds like a team that's going up against the Mariners, who they're back and forth with record-wise. What frustrated me is I did not watch the game, saw the highlights, everything else. 40th home run hit, and then you look at the score. I'm like, oh, so Angels beat the Mariners. That's a great start. Remember, they lost 2 in a row to Atlanta after they took the first one. They lost the game 5-3.
Okay, not only did they lose this game 5-3.
Yep.
They lost it in
the top of the ninth, up 3-1.
Because I actually was checking around some scores and saw where this game was. Saw that the Angels were up 3-1. Like, I knew Ohtani had hit the home run in that.
Yep.
And I thought about putting it on, but then I'm like, yeah, what? Like, it's top of the ninth. It's done. Like, whatever. I actually went to sleep thinking the Angels won this game. I did not realize until you just pointed this out. I thought they won.
So this is this is part of my explanation of frustration. It's I get how great Ohtani is. Unfortunately for Ohtani and the Angels, it's like, hey, let's celebrate his 40th. They had a devastating loss. They're up 3-1 going into the ninth. A grand slam by the Mariners puts them up 5-3. Obviously, lights out from there. That's a crushing loss for an Angels team that's already back, trying to come back from behind.
That is simply a loss you can't have. Like, you can. It's where they're at right now. Every loss becomes really important. But this particular loss against this particular team, Seattle, that you're chasing, you can't have that loss. Again, I didn't bother watching the ninth inning. I thought it was totally done.
So with that loss, by the way, they're 4 back now in the wild card. They would have been 3 back. Seattle would have been behind them. Seattle now has a 2-game cushion in the loss column. And Seattle's also changed. Everybody's chasing the Blue Jays right now. Blue Jays are the last team in the wild card. But doesn't that just properly explain Angels baseball? That unfortunately it's still just about Ohtani rather than every Angel fan out there wishes Ohtani did not hit his 40th and they won the game 3-1. But it just kind of goes back to what you and I have talked about, certainly when it comes to the Angels, just the frustration of potentially not getting a chance to see Ohtani later on in meaningful games, and we'll see what happens. They're in the middle of a stretch now where they're playing a lot of good teams. One of two things are going to happen. They're either going to gain ground because you're playing teams in front of you, or you're going to fall back far enough to where we're sitting here in 30 days and saying the Angels are no longer in contention.
Carlos Estevez, who gave up that home run, he has 23 saves this year. I'm trying to find out how many save opportunities he had, how many blown saves, but, like, that's crazy. That is crazy. Again, I did not put on this game because I thought it was over.
Well, maybe then that tells you anytime Angels have a lead, it's never over.
I guess put it on. Put the game on.
Over. Dodgers and the Padres are facing off in a 4-game series starting tonight. You remember before the season started, there was a lot of – I remember when the schedule came out, and I think there was some –
Carlos Estevez is top 10 in saves in the AL.
Is he top 10?
Yeah. And, like, how many – he must have been pretty good because how many save opportunities have the Angels had?
Probably not that many.
He's got to be pretty good.
Probably not that many. I know, devastating loss to them. But I'm going to –
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good, AK. I want to set this up because I think before the season started, Dodgers-Padres coming into this year was, I thought, a sexy matchup. Okay? I think that – listen, I get it. The Dodgers have won the division basically 10 out of 11 years, whatever it is, 9 out of 10 years. They've dominated the Padres during the regular season. But the Padres go out, they make some moves. There are a lot of people that thought Padres might win the division. Hasn't played out that way. Clearly has not played out that way. If you go look at the standings right now, the Dodgers have a 9-game lead on the Padres in the division. If you would have told me, and I think you could also have this conversation with any Dodger fans out there. If you'd have told me that we're going to get to this August matchup where the Padres and the Dodgers have a 4-game set, and the Dodgers have a 9-game lead, I think a lot of people would have said, what the hell happened? Well, here's what's happened. The Dodgers continue to play good baseball. Not great baseball, but they're 62-45. They're 17 games over 500, and the Padres have been one of the more disappointing teams in all of baseball. I don't know what this series means to the Dodgers. I don't know if the Dodgers are looking at this and saying, it's literally just another team on our schedule, but they're more worried about the Giants than they are about the Padres. For the Padres, this could literally be the season. It could come down. If you get swept by the Dodgers, I mean, the division, I think, is already done. The Padres it's between the Giants and the Dodgers. But I don't know how Dodger fans look at this series. I think it was really, really sexy matchup before the season started. I don't know if they're just looking at it now as, it's just the Padres again, and they don't think anything else of it.
Well, okay, first of all, just info about
give it to me.
I'm mesmerized by this Carlos Estevez thing and the Angels losing last night. 2 people just hit me up on Twitter at Cam Brothers, Mandy Lopez, and Crash Overdrive, letting me know this was Carlos Estevez's first blown save of the season.
Oh, my God.
I didn't realize. I started looking up. I really got fascinated by this.
You said he has how many saves? 20?
23.
So he's 23 of 24.
He was an all-star this year. I did not realize that. Carlos Estevez was an all-star. Like, this is so Angels. As far as the Dodgers and...
let's stay with it for a second. You said something earlier. You can't have losses like this.
No.
You just can't.
You can't.
If you actually compare, Emily mentioned something we were talking this morning that I think is, remember that year the Dodgers and the Giants are basically, they're fighting it out to win the division, and there were some people that were saying, you know what, screw it. If you're a Dodger fan, this is the year Scherzer and Trey Turner, give up the division, just be healthy for the playoffs. The Dodgers have given themselves such a cushion here that even if they want in September, they might have a good enough cushion to just make the postseason. I know you want to win the division. The Angels don't have a cushion. You got Ohtani that's already dealing with cramps and some other things because they're using him. You got no other choice but to use Ohtani the way you're using him. But even if you made a push for the playoffs, what's that team going to look like September 15th? What's it going to look like if they even got to the postseason? Because they're obviously shooting every bullet that they have right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see once the playoffs roll around if these Dodgers are really this good or if they've been overachieving. Like if they've been a sum greater than what their parts seem like on paper.
Which one do you think it is, if you had to pick?
They feel like overachievers to me. But that being said, maybe overachieving is enough this season. I mean, in an NL this open, every year you need to be as good as you need to be to win a championship. Some years you need to be better than other years. Mm-hmm. I mean, any team that wins a championship is by definition a great team, but not all great teams are at the same level of greatness. There's a reason that some teams repeat or three-peat. Some teams win a championship.
Yeah.
They lose in the first or second round. Doesn't mean that they weren't great. It's hard to win championships, but not all championships teams are stacked up equally. Remember yesterday we were talking, though, about what era of basketball we would love to see get the winning time treatment?
Yeah.
I would love to see these Padres get the winning time treatment because there's got to be something going on in that clubhouse with that team. Like,
there's a lot of talent.
A lot of talent. Mm-hmm. A lot of big personalities. Mm-hmm. They were thrown together in a way where they looked like they would dominate. Mm-hmm. And something is way off that feels like it's got to be chemistry, it's got to be vibe, it's got to be something that I think would be really fascinating to learn more about.
We had Oral Hershiser in, I think, a week ago or so. And part of the conversation we were having is how important is chemistry? Because I think what you're saying about the Padres and the Dodgers, it's funny, Freddie Freeman's dance that he does now and everything else, and he explained, all the details of why he does it. But there is a certain kind of vibe to this Dodgers team. It seems loose. They seem like they really get along. There doesn't seem to be any tension. There doesn't seem to be, this is my team, this is your team. None of that. And ultimately at the end of the day, the Dodgers are going to be judged on what they do in the postseason. Period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. What they do in the postseason, how they're going to be judged. But you watch the Dodgers play baseball, watch a game where they play baseball, small ball, the little things, just the small things that it takes to win. You watch the Padres play, the product is completely different. You can have all the names on the roster like the Padres do, but that doesn't mean it's all going to click, so I think that's an interesting point. I will say one other thing that, and this is really a compliment to the Dodgers. I don't think this 4-game set is that big of a deal to the Dodgers. I can tell you in San Diego, this is basically it's like a playoff series. And that part of that has to do with you're still a game below 500. You're still chasing these other teams in the wild card. But I don't think it really mattered where the Dodgers were. They just happen to have that much of a cushion on the Padres. It's still incredibly important to stay obviously in front of the Giants, grow a little bit more space between you, the Giants, and the Diamondbacks. But it just kind of shows a series in August. I don't think it's that big of a deal for the Dodgers. I think they come out 2-2. They're probably saying, "Cool, let's just keep this thing moving." For the Padres, it's everything.
Yeah, I mean, when you're the team that's chasing, it matters more to you than the team being chased.
There are a couple updates, and we're going to do this when we come back. Couple updates on Clayton Kershaw. Couple updates on Walker Buehler, and also AD and the Lakers can begin their talks today as far as an extension goes. We'll get into all that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
Introducing Waba. ESPN.
We had our best female artist yesterday. Man, that draft by far had the most anger and feedback.
Oh, but guess
that I
who?
think
Guess
we've
who
ever
won?
got.
Wait, who won?
Who won the poll yesterday?
I think it was Andy was
I think
first.
it was me. I took Taylor Swift.
I was second. Jorge was third.
I
and
won,
think
guys. I
Emily
had 50% of the votes,
Emily got
guys.
fourth.
Emily
but
crushed it.
You voted a lot.
I had
Lot of
all of my
burners.
bots vote for me.
Where'd Beto go?
He just walked out, but he
Came
came in
in,
to
left.
look at the mouse pad in the gum situation.
He needed to see it for himself. Beto drove an hour just to come in and see it for himself.
Well, I mean, this is the
He
crime
wanted
of
to
the
see what
century. I don't blame him.
It is a crime of the century. Okay, a little bit earlier we were talking. I know Steve in L.A. has waited very patiently. Steve, what's going on? I know we were talking a little bit earlier about the Pac-12. What were your thoughts on basically the death of the Pac-12 today? Great point, Steve. Excellent point. I thought what
that
he
was actually
said,
the Pac-12 calling.
I thought that was the meetings this morning. Just absolute crickets. I loved what he said there at the end. Do you ever feel?
It is a final.
Do you ever feel like Steve basically was on hold for an hour, right, waiting to come on? One of two things happen. Part of me thinks when somebody waits that long, they forgot they're still on hold. Okay. Or two, they just think, well, I'm all in, and I'm just going to stay here until their freaking show ends. And then, of course, we go to him, and he's probably taking a shower or something. He's like, it's not going to happen.
I think he forgot. I think he absolutely forgot.
Call
back, Steve.
We had a, what's up, Beto?
This is why you don't take calls.
What are you talking about? Nah, we take calls.
All right, thank you for your input.
You got to take calls.
No, they fall asleep on you. And then they're not ready.
Unfortunately for him, it was an hour. That's on me if I didn't take him in the first 15.
No, I guarantee you it wasn't going to be a good call. If you're waiting an hour, and you got an hour on a Friday morning in the summer, it's not going to be good. Just send a tweet.
Did you hear Laura call in and
No, I just heard
I
just heard the tail end that there was gum in the studio. I'm like, I got to go. I got to get out of the house. I got to go figure out what the hell you guys are doing, man.
I don't think
it's a ruckus.
I don't think we figured anything out, to be honest with you.
So Laura did it? What did she do?
Laura didn't do it.
Well, our investigation so far has not proven Laura did it. It has not disproven Laura either.
I think it's safe to say Laura did not do it. You disagree.
You think nobody did it, man.
I don't think it's safe to say Laura did or didn't do it. I think it's safe to say Laura is a person of interest. Her first interview, however, her first interrogation with good, totally naive, let whatever happens cop and bad cop, I think she had a solid enough alibi. Has she been completely removed as a person of interest? No, she hasn't been.
AK will be visiting Laura's house later today.
Will I kick in the door? I don't know.
All I heard
was her mother.
Yeah, the tail end was Laura saying, "Don't mess with the Latina before she's had her coffee," and Andy's response of, "I live with one."
Yes.
Ana from Texas.
Yeah, you ain't gonna scare me, Laura.
Sorry, Laura.
Been there, done that. I'm
and
dead.
you're still alive.
I'm dead inside to it. if we're really being honest.
So that's how we can't figure it out. We
What
don't know
happened?
who
So there's a
did
bunch
it.
of gum on the mouse pad?
There's a mouse pad that,
So whoever was sitting here yesterday was
Jorge
chewing
is
gum and decided to take the gum out of their mouth and put it on the mouse pad. And then were you thinking about putting it back in your mouth and forgot about it? Because it's still there.
But where was that mouse pad at?
In front of me. Like
in front of you. All right, so when you showed me right now, you moved it out of the way.
I moved it out of the way.
And you're the first person here in the morning.
Uh-huh. Well, besides Emily. Emily was here first, so maybe.
Okay, but in that spot. That's you.
You have yet to question Emily at all, AK.
Nah,
I thought you were going to interrogate a little bit.
Nah, because she's not going to go to that spot right there.
Sometimes, sometimes got to put in sound.
Oh, sorry, I was
There's
checked
other
out.
things going on. It is.
I'm focusing on Disney.
It is interesting that Emily was, I don't know, she was around in that basic area and thus far has been completely eliminated as a suspect. Nobody's quite sure why.
So why'd you guys blame Laura?
We didn't blame Laura. We said
we just went by the timeline of when
she's one of
so
the
after
only.
me is Brian. After Brian is Laura.
And then after Laura was who?
I don't know.
Oh, we've made it clear. It could be Brian. It could be a number of people. We're not
Brian Cohen.
Brian Cohen.
Mason Island show.
Oh, okay.
Ringo.
Ringo?
They call him Ringo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Brian, but I think Brian, even without getting any interrogation, has also been eliminated from.
Nah, that guy's chill. He's not gonna say
possibility.
anything. He's just gonna be like, whatever, man. All right, cool. Don't worry about it.
Brian
Bringing
might
that
put his-
Humboldt attitude.
No,
Brian
that I
might
don't
put
care
his gum
attitude.
there on the mouse pad and then
It
decide
might
to
have been
eat it
him,
a couple
man.
hours later.
It might have been. You know what it might have been? It might have been whoever cleans puts that mouse pad back in that spot to be like, hey, cochinos, clean up after yourself.
You're not lying.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Uh-huh.
So we haven't figured anything else out.
Yeah, this sounds like Friday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure that
Just
out.
going through the motion like.
We're just
So
trying
you
to figure
woke
that
up
out.
Laura for this?
No,
She
she
was
was already
awake.
awake.
Yeah, she was awake.
It's like 10:30 she came on.
She's out having breakfast with the mom.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't.
Laura had to defend herself.
Why?
Because she was the last, technically, we thought she was the last one in the
I want to
studio.
know who ratted
But I
out to
think we're
Laura
wrong.
that this
But I
was
think we're
going
wrong.
on. Because Laura wasn't listening. There's no way she's listening. So
I
who
think,
ratted
I think,
out to her?
I think
man.
Twitter. Yes.
Twitter. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Her mentions were blowing up.
Bunch of rats out there,
Yeah.
man.
Chivatos.
Snitches.
Everybody coming
Snitches,
after
bro.
everybody.
What's up, Sliwa?
Friday.
Beto, are you...
I'm here way early today. I'm on for Sedano and Cap on both of them today.
Okay.
But I got a meeting here in downtown. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of going and sitting somewhere, let me go use air conditioning at ESPNLA.
yeah. You got to use air
Yeah,
conditioning.
and the Wi-Fi is pretty strong in here.
Got
Yeah.
Those are good enough reasons.
Yeah.
and
So
the,
bad.
and the,
Those are
and
good
I didn't
enough
want to pay for the parking and where I got to go, so I might as well just come here.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything else.
No. So I'm gonna get on a bird and right over there.
I was asking AK this. Before the season started, Dodgers and Padres seemed like, hey, this might be an interesting matchup. This might be an interesting back and forth all year. Has not happened. Dodgers have a 9-game lead in the division. I think they've played 6 times this year. I want to say Dodgers won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Is
No competition this year.
Is this series a big deal this weekend? It's
Heck
a
yeah.
4-game set.
Heck yeah,
Is
it's
it a big
series.
deal to
Yeah.
the Dodgers?
You bury the Padres. You bury a team because if the Padres do get into the playoffs, and they're like 4 or 5 games back of a wild card spot
4
right
back,
now.
4 back
So whatever
right
it is, if you get the Padres into a playoffs in a short series, they can still make some noise right now. So this isn't a team that you exactly. I'm not saying you're scared of them in the playoffs, but if you can avoid their pitching staff in the playoffs, yeah. And a team when they're battling all season long, they're up and down, and you get in the playoffs. All right, fresh start. Everybody's ready to go.
Sure, 0-0.
You can be careful with them right now, and they know that they can beat the Dodgers in the playoffs like they did last year. So you go down to San Diego, you bury them.
They have a
sweep 'em,
chance of doing that. They have a chance of burying the Padres.
You can
I
end
mean,
their season this weekend.
Yeah, the other thing, too, is the more distance you create between
Absolutely.
yourself and everyone else, the more opportunity this Dodgers team that has been kind of banged up all year can maybe rest a little bit heading into the playoffs without having to worry about the team that's chasing them. If you know basically your playoff place is solidified one way or the other.
You can have your relievers
Here's the other
a couple
problem.
days off, or you have your starters
exactly.
only go 5, and that's it.
Here's the other problem, too. Hypothetically, let's say you gave the Padres some momentum. It's not that you're worried about the Padres coming to the division.
No.
It's the Giants are only 2.5 back, too.
Yeah, and Arizona's right there, too.
So there are some teams that you still have. I don't think anybody thought it was going to be like this,
No.
but Dodgers, Giants, Arizona, it's a few game difference.
Yeah,
It's not like it's a 7-8 game difference like it is with the
Yeah, we're just
Padres.
waiting for Arizona to fall back, right?
They started.
We've been waiting for them since like June. Like, they're still hanging around there right now. They're good. They're a good team that you're nobody paying attention to.
They're super
and
young.
you don't know anybody on that team. And when you're young and you don't know no better,
That's when you're probably most dangerous. Actually, think
sure.
about how many games now. Dodgers actually 6.5 in front of Arizona now.
Yeah,
That happened fast.
yeah. So the Dodgers they win
That
the
happened
West and you're
fast.
good. That's what you need to focus on. But it's always fun when you can bury a team in the end of season. Doesn't
All right.
matter who it is.
Update on Kershaw. So Clayton Kershaw out since late June because of a shoulder injury. Threw to hitters yesterday in a 4-inning simulated game of about 60 pitches and is in line to start next week. This might be kind of the best of both worlds, where Kershaw got a good amount of time off, and you're going to bring him back, and probably you're talking about, let's say another week or so. So August 10th, let's just call it, August 11th, whenever he comes back, you're going to have him for that stretch run, and hopefully a fresh Clayton Kershaw for that fresh run as well.
They need one more reliable arm.
Mm-hmm.
They need one more reliable starter.
Oh, fun! She's walking in the building. He probably did it.
We already interviewed him.
No, don't believe him. Look, he has that guilty face. See, look, guilty face. Yup. Just shaking his head. Look. Whenever somebody goes and looks at a bunch of papers,
I can
you know
help
they're
this.
guilty. Because who uses papers in 2023?
No, just all of a sudden you bring up, hey, did you do it? And he's just going through paperwork and writing notes.
Upside down.
I can help with this interrogation. Funch, did you do it? He didn't do it.
Oh, he's shaking his head. Wait. What kind of...
Funch is done. Laura's out of the picture. Funch out of the picture. You didn't do it.
You never watched Law and Order, huh? It's not solved in the first 10 minutes.
He's playing super, super, super good cop. I'm bad cop. He's playing
No, you're playing cop.
Yes,
he's playing
that's true.
Community volunteer over here.
That is true. He's playing really.
Hey, Funch, you didn't do it. You want to go to the bar later and just grab a drink or something?
Did anyone find out who's in the studio after Laura, though?
We are still
under investigation.
Yeah, we are still going through the surveillance.
We got the detectives on the case.
We're going through the surveillance footage.
Yeah, as a former guy who used to push the buttons, that's nasty leaving the gum there.
Bro, that mouse pad's been there since
That mouse pad, you guys should be mad about
1997.
that mouse pad. That's disgusting.
It's been there since 97.
Yeah.
And if somebody put their gum there, the question is, were they ready to put the gum back in their mouth?
That has Eddie Jones Sidell 3 on that mouse pad, bro.
It's the first year we got it.
Yeah.
We got that mouse pad on that year. All right, we got Factor. Where you going? You want to stay for Factor Cap?
I got nothing else to do, yeah.
All right, Factor Cap coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and
have
Sliwa
it.
Show, 710 ESPN.
Factor Cap.
That's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey, guys. What number am I at today, Jorge?
You're at number 2 right now.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah. So, hey, to all of my haters on all of the Twitter, I have been...
You got haters?
Well, yes, obviously. And I haven't been talking about her as much today, so, I'm listening
because
to
of that. Yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
I would
I thought
expect
you the
nothing
person.
less
She's
better.
going
No,
tomorrow.
you the
Going
person.
tomorrow.
There's no way
Yeah.
because you're super awesome, super professional, and
Me
great.
talking about
you that other
that-
stuff. Yeah,
that
there's no
artist.
need for that. There's no need.
All right, so Dylan and Cole Sprouse, who are of Big Daddy fame and Friends fame, they've also been on This We Live with Zach and Cody. It's their birthday today. They are twins that started acting as children. So if your kid really, really, really wanted to be a child actor really badly, you would let them. Alan, Patrick Cap.
Will you let Rookie act?
Airbud 7.
Rookie would kill it. He's already been in Sierra Subaru commercials already. I go fact on this. I got a difficult time if my kid's like really, really, I really, really want to do this. It's probably the equivalent. They want to play a sport. They want to play an instrument or something like that. I'd rather them kind of, obviously you got to do what you got to do as a parent, but I'd rather them figure out that's a passion of theirs or it's not without me determining it. So I'll go fact.
All right, Beto?
Cap. No way in... No.
Hell.
Okay, say that here. Oh, no way in hell.
Yeah.
Fridays you could pretty much say anything.
Okay,
Nobody is.
Well, I don't know the morning show if we're loose or not. So, but it's hard enough being an adult in this business, let alone a kid. So Freddie Prinze Jr., who has 2 kids, said there's no way I would ever let my kids act unless they were 18 years old. Until then, you figure it out because Hollywood just tear you up. Because the worst thing about anything is the adults that get involved. My niece Maddie, if you follow me on Instagram, Bethelvision, she's on there all the time. She wants to be an actress. She's 11, is in theater and all the drama stuff. My sister's like, nope, not having it. So to get her creative out there, her and I do like little skits on my Instagram. People are like, oh my gosh, she's so funny. I'm like, this is not improv here. We skit this, all right? So after her soccer games, I interview her, showing all that. But I tell myself, if you're 18, do it, figure it out. But as a kid, no way, because how many horror stories do we have? For every Ron Howard, you have Corey Feldman's and everybody else, and that's all I got.
All right, Andy?
Cap.
He's a theater major.
I know. I would feel really bad about not letting my daughter do it if I could tell she really, really wanted to do it.
Until?
At the same time, man,
that's the right thing to do.
The industry is brutal.
Yeah.
It is, so, particularly with kids, too. And I don't want to have to play the role of the dadager. But the truth is you need a parent around.
I mean, look at Britney's dad.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah. I know what a monster I would turn into.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be... No.
If you're giving me 10%, I will be ridiculous.
Who are the youngsters that acted from a really young age have come out where you're like, okay, hey, that
Ryan
one
Gosling
seems kind of normal.
That's turned out well.
Yeah.
Oh, he was an actor?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in
Mickey
Mickey Mouse Club, and he was an actor as a kid.
Oh, Timberlake?
Yeah, Timberlake too.
Justin. Yeah, Justin. Actually, that's a great example.
You know, one of the things, though, right now, is it not necessarily the actors? It's those kids who are influencers who are cute when they're 9 and 10, and then they become a teenager and they're not that cute anymore.
Yeah.
And then now what do you got? And
they haven't really learned to do anything
they haven't.
other than just be on TikTok or whatever.
That's it. So they're TikTok famous, and then that goes away because you're famous for 4 minutes. And then what?
And then your skills are somewhere else.
And then what are you doing here? Like, yeah, you made some money, but then what are you going to do with the rest of your life? It's scary, man. It is really, really scary out there.
Jorge, what about you?
Nah, I'm with the guys. It's too much work, and it's scary out there.
All right, so...
I wouldn't even let my kid get into this business, let alone...
Yeah.
Like, the intern Graham behind you, when I spoke to him in high school, he was my intern for Bethelvision Enterprises.
Awesome.
In conjunction with Cramerica. I told the intern Graham over and over and over, no, get a business degree. And his dad is in the business.
You're talking about this industry?
That intern right there,
But
yeah.
This
industry right here.
This industry, no problem.
No, hell no.
No
See?
problem.
I'd rather my child be a child actor than get into this business.
I'd rather be an
if I gotta
actor.
choose.
No, this is...
Flea, how
this
long
is
did it
not
take you to
nearly-
get on the air here? You were doing sales.
Yeah, but it just the industry as a whole...
Sucks.
Unless
Terrible.
I disagree. It's a good karma.
All right.
Associated station.
It's
I
as
disagree.
Mr. 1099 who had 11 employers last year. Andy, how many did you have? About 14, maybe, and a YouTube component.
I'm not saying
this industry sucks.
I'm not saying that
the
it's
job
not,
is amazing.
Well,
the
that's
job is
my
amazing.
point. My point is, I'm not saying that it's not challenging. I'm not saying that it's not cutthroat. I'm not saying that all that stuff.
I'm fine with all that stuff.
But what I'm saying is, if you're in it and you have the ability to make it your career, that's a pretty damn good.
Beto summarized it really well.
And take a Val Palverty.
But if you get cut tomorrow, what are you doing?
I think today's world, you actually have much more options than you had 15 years ago.
Sliwa, you haven't lived until you're waiting for that 30-day invoice. It's been 90 days and they haven't paid you.
Beto, you're not wrong in that, but today
because I'm dealing with it right now.
You can have a platform today that you didn't have, and technically you don't need
platform
this
isn't money. Platform is just a platform.
Oh, as one TV station told me, it's great exposure for your brand. My brand ain't paying a damn thing.
But let me give you a good example. Good example is people today that did not have a mic over the last 10 years have a big platform, are making money, and have advertisers, and they're on YouTube.
Fewer
and they're
are actually
on their own
making
employers.
money than you think.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to hire me full time,
but
please.
the fact that you can today is a big difference than before.
There are more avenues
Correct.
now. There are more avenues now to attempt to get into this, but there are fewer actual opportunities. There's a real difference.
Like, for example, if you want to do play-by-play right now,
yep.
Major League Baseball got rid of half of their minor league teams, so those jobs are gone right now.
Yeah, the entire industry is shrinking.
There's less and less. And well, look, for example, ESPN, you get hired to be a writer, a radio contributor, and a TV contributor. It used to be 3 different jobs. Now it's just one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Graham, don't do it.
Listen, the challenges, I get it, but if you're in, it's also a great
That's
job.
absolutely true.
The job is amazing. But when you do your taxes,
Beto summarized it well. Great job, terrible industry.
And great people, though.
All right. So, next thing, I'm just saying, we got to, there are people that want to talk about this stuff.
It was almost like a full segment.
All right. So, Joe Thomas was on the Adam Schefter podcast, and he talked about this instance with Peyton Manning, and this is what he had to say.
And so I think what happened was Peyton realized, like, hey, the deal's there. Elway thinks it's fair. Everybody thinks it's fair, but it's not going to happen unless Joe does something very drastic. And, it's not like I had a no trade clause or anything like that, but it was just a matter of, hey, Joe, I think you should go up to your GM's office and make a stink. Literally, I want you to go up there, pull your pants down, and make a stink on his desk, because that's the only way Cleveland is going to trade you. That's the only way you're going to be able to get out of town. And
all right, so yes, Peyton Manning wanted Joe Thomas so badly to get out of town that he, wanted him to make that big move. So this is how James Harden requests every trade from every team he's ever been on. Andy, factor cap.
Cap, because James Harden wouldn't put that much effort into it. Mm-hmm. That's way too much work for James Harden.
Well, he eats out of town, so. Al?
I go cap too. I love how James Harden found a couple times this week to be a part of our show. I go cap on this. By the way, the fact that Peyton Manning is giving that type of advice, like I look at Peyton Manning as somebody that probably gives out great advice. Peyton Manning, he knew
the trade wasn't going to happen.
The businessman that he is and everything else. I go cap on this one.
Beto?
Cap. And why is James Harden catching strays?
James Harden.
Oh, this is why. So we're going to play.
This song's for you, girl. I know you want to see this chest.
No, it's not.
It's James Harden.
I know that you want
on Instagram?
It's from a commercial, like about a decade or so ago.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, he got paid. He got paid for it. All right, good.
Do we even know what the ad was?
I think it was a sneaker commercial.
It was Adidas.
It was a sneaker. One of the podcast fellows over there told me about it. It was a sneaker commercial.
No, he's got Nike
Europe
shirts
or
on,
what?
I think it was him and Curry actually.
Steph saying earlier this week too.
Yeah, Jorge, what do you think about this?
No, cap with the guys. I wouldn't. Look, what would you do if you wanted to quit something?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably just quit. All right.
Put gum on the mouse pad.
Yeah, exactly.
Fire me, please.
You guys can tell I'm very checked out today. All right, so
I don't know about that.
I sent this TikTok.
Why are you so checked out?
Well, because I got Taylor Swift tomorrow.
He's got Disney.
And I had
tomorrow.
Disney
Let's
today.
stay focused here. You got
After
till
the
1
show.
o'clock here, woman.
All right, so we got. I sent this TikTok to Clinton actually yesterday, and he said hell no to this. So I sent him a TikTok, and it was the process in which someone is deep frying an Uncrustable. So you would do a deep fried Uncrustable. Beto, factor cap.
Fact. That's what they do at the Orange County Fair. It's going on right now. They deep fry everything. The Oreos,
Twinkies,
the Twinkies, all that good stuff. Deep
Bacon.
fry is good because I always take my heartburn pill before that. I'm ready to go. I just came back from Mexico. I got a brand new supply. I'm good, baby.
All right, Andy?
I'd give it a try. Yeah, why not? Fact. Give it a try.
Your wife's from Texas. Of course you're doing it.
I don't know if it'd be good, but I'll give it a try. Why not? I'll try anything.
Alan?
I go Cap only because it's not that not anything against it. It's just the Uncrustables are so good the way they already are. I don't even need to. Travis tells a story. This dude, back when he was doing the pre and everything else, you know, you got him over at Crypto, right?
Yeah.
Open up the fridge. There's some sandwiches, and then there's the Uncrustables. This guy would just put one in his jacket pocket.
Uncrustables are so good when you're golfing on the back nine.
If you gave him a hug, okay? Not that I think everybody was giving Travis a hug at Crypto. Literally, you're knocking peanut butter and jelly like up his shirt.
Boy, that's only at Crypto?
Oh,
come on now.
I'm not going to fry them simply because they're already good.
Uncrustables are the
I don't feel like I
best.
need
Too many calories. This guy.
Oh,
this guy.
Oh, you're a healthy guy? Actually, that's what we had Travis Higbee yesterday, the tight end from the Rams.
Yeah.
And I asked him, like, when did you become a tight end?
Tyler Higbee.
Oh, Tyler Higbee, right? I'm over here.
That's
So when
kind
did you become a tight end? And he's like, well, in college, they told me to go from receiver to tight end. So I gained 25 pounds just by eating Uncrustables every day, loading up on it, and protein shakes and everything else.
That's his secret.
Oh, that's it, man. Uncrustables are the best, man.
Yeah,
if you're
anything
a
fried.
soccer dad,
Anything
soccer
fried.
mom, everything.
Yes.
Fry it up.
I got one more for you guys. So, a YouTube creator had his mission to go to every single Margaritaville in the U.S. and Canada. Every single location he went, ate it, and documented it. He was also
What's Margaritaville?
It's like, isn't it like Jimmy Buffett's restaurant
the
thing?
Jimmy Buffett, the Parrot Head.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
okay.
it's just they have restaurants all around, and he also did every single rainforest cafe in the United States as well, and documented it in a different video. So there is a restaurant that you would want to go to every single location that's available to you. Jorge, Factor Cap.
Tacos Mexico.
Oh, this guy. That's your house. Get out of here with that.
Nah, I'll go to Bubba Gump. There's Bubba Gump everywhere.
Yeah.
Bubba Gump's a good one.
It's like in every major city has
Exactly,
one, so
yeah.
you got to
San
go visit
Antonio.
all those. Alan?
Cap, I think I just get sick of whatever restaurant. I mean, you can think of, I guess.
Every Cheesecake Factory has a big menu.
No, you're right. Like, literally, you're going to need, like, a Cheesecake Factory. You're going to need something like that where you can have different types of foods. But think about a place that the menu is not as, just there isn't as eclectic or whatever you want to call it. I'm not doing that.
Beto?
Cap. I don't like food that much. I don't like the same thing. Yeah, I'm more about
Problem is the same thing.
the same thing over and over and
But
over.
again, you can go to a Cheesecake Factory. You can
No.
go to an Applebee's.
because
you
I
can
go to
do
this
the
place
entire
always.
menu.
Oh, Applebee's. What's wrong with you? Oh, you are in your
Well,
20s.
you're
in your 20s.
You
yeah.
get on me over Christmas when I really wanted to go to Olive Garden. You're very anti-chain, aren't you?
Yeah, because you're like, we're gonna go to Olive Garden.
Yeah,
I'm like,
there's
Olive-
some hometown nostalgia
They
related
go to
to chain.
the the local spot that only you know from there. That's not nostalgia.
But Olive Garden is authentic Sicilian.
By the way, By the way,
So
I love the
there's
tour of
something
Italy.
about that.
Yeah.
The tour of Italy, and then they give you those little chocolates. Now that's fantastic.
Oh, with the mint.
But if I had to pick a spot, Emily, I kid you not, if you're like, hey, Beto, you have to pick a
AK.
restaurant, Olive Garden.
Okay.
Because the breadsticks and that salad.
Look at a Beppo. It's Sicilian. It's
Hey.
Sicilian.
Emily just wants to go somewhere where she feels like family at every single meal.
Of course.
Cap. Like, the more places like that we're describing, they're all chains. The more of them that they are, the less you need to keep recreating the experience. It's the same experience.
Yeah.
It's just the city is different. If I'm going to bother traveling all over the country, it's not to keep experiencing the same restaurant in a different state or city in the country.
No, you're right. You go to a barbecue spot because you're in Texas. You go to whatever it
I'm
is.
always about finding the new spots.
All right, AD and the Lakers can begin their talks about an extension starting today. We'll spend a little time talking about Anthony Davis. We talked a little bit about D'Angelo Russell as well. The last couple of days, there was an article talking about D'Lo, Gabe Vincent, potentially who would start in that position. We'll do that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
So Al and I are teaming up for your chance to win an entire office full of lunch from Waba Grill. So you're going to want to be listening all day during the 12 o'clock lunch hour for your cue to call to pick up food for the entire office, courtesy of Waba Grill.
We got some ribeye, we got some chicken, we got some shrimp.
I'm making it sound like I cooked them myself. Look at these boom boom tacos.
You can visit wabagrill.com. You can order online. Just go on in, get yourself some of these tacos. Visit your local Waba Grill location. Of course, walk right in. Of course, you can order online for delivery or pickup. Waba Grill, right? Eat smart, be healthy. Boom boom, kaboom.
Emily, you ready for tomorrow?
I'm super excited.
What's your? Did you go yesterday? Yesterday you were going to that
cocktail party.
Yeah, so there was a cocktail party in Manhattan Beach. They had hors d'oeuvres, they had music, they had drink. They had one signature cocktail, the Lavender Haze. It had it was lime, prosecco, lavender, something else really nice. It was a very light drink, and then I got my friends who are flying in from the East Coast came in. I got dinner with them. We chatted. It was a really nice night. A little precursor,
She's ready
very
for tomorrow,
Taylor around it, but. And I just texted my friend who was at the show last night, and she says 10 out of 10, no notes, was the best day of her life. So I was like, okay, I'm excited.
When did the sisters arrive?
They arrived this morning at 1 a.m. And so they're here right now. Claire, I think, is working, doing a little half day of work, and then we're gonna go to Disney right after the show.
Where'd you guys go to dinner yesterday? Olive Garden.
We went to another chain, but an LA chain. We went to Pitfire. So, but we went to Shade Hotels in Manhattan Beach. Ooh. It was a really cool hotel. It was really nice.
Yeah, it's been there for a while.
So that's where the cocktail hour was.
Nice.
She's got a big 24 hours coming here. I mean, this time tomorrow. What time are you going to go to sleep tonight? I could see you sleeping
it's
at
Christmas
9.
morning or whatever.
It's 9 o'clock. She's like, I gotta make sure I'm in good shape for tomorrow.
Depends when I'm going to leave the park, So it's so my sister Sarah hasn't been to any Disney park yet, and my older sister Claire's only been to Disney World. And so we're going to go, and we're trying to plan out what stops we need to go to, and we're trying to figure out this Genie Pass thing. But I'm excited. I think we're probably going to stay until 9:30 is what I would assume.
Midnight?
Yeah, we're not staying till midnight by any means.
Leave after the fireworks. That's what I do.
We actually might even leave before the fireworks. It depends on how our feet feel.
What is the Hebel sister vibe when you guys are all together? What is that?
Loud.
Like?
It's very loud. It's very at times contentious, as you can tell. We all have strong opinions about things. But
how many total?
There are 4 total.
11 sisters.
3 will be here this weekend. So Maggie, my sister that's younger than me, is in. She has medical school, so she's not started yet. So she didn't have time to take off, and she's not the biggest fan of Taylor Swift, so she didn't want to spend the amount of money on it. So, but yeah, 3 of us rolling deep. It's
do people know when the 3 of you, when you roll in, do people realize in the room, okay, the Hebels have arrived?
Yes, we all sound the same. We all have the same voice. We all look very similar, and so I actually asked them.
They take a boombox with them, and they have Taylor Swift playing the entire time.
I need to see photographic documentation of this. I need to see what the Hebel sister thing is about.
Yes. I actually asked them if they wanted to come this morning to the show, and they were like, no. We are not going to come in.
Good call.
They're like, who's on? It's like Allen, AK. She's like, well, I'm interested in AK, but...
Yeah, but I'll send you a picture. We look all similar. Roars!
All right, that sounds like a good couple days coming up here for UM. Okay, 2 weeks from today is our fantasy football draft party at Hollywood Park Casino, and you could be there with your fantasy football league. Sign up now while spots are still left. All you got to do is just go to ESPNLA.com. Again, go to the website, click on the fantasy football logo, the Hollywood Park Casino logo, and we'll see you Friday, August 18th. Hollywood Park Casino, eat, drink, and draft. We spent a couple different times this week waiting for Friday. Kind of there's anticipation of getting to Friday. The Lakers can obviously begin their talks about an extension starting today. Dan Wike, who we both know, covers the Lakers. Wiki. Covers the...
Wike.
Covers... No, he's even told me that. I think it's Wike.
I'm pretty positive it's
pretty
Wiki.
Positive. All right.
Wiki
covers the Lakers for the LA Times.
Founded Wikipedia.
Covers the Lakers for the LA Times. I'm gonna read something from one of his pieces because his piece I think is a perfect description of how we all feel about Anthony Davis as Laker fans. He says, according to people with knowledge of the situation, there's strong interest from the Lakers getting an extension done. I don't think a real surprise there. With the 30-year-old big man, indications are the team is prepared to make a full 3-year offer despite concerns about Davis's durability. Put that to the side. I think we've all talked about that. AD, the right thing to do in kind of the situation that the Lakers are in, and the fact that Anthony Davis, yes, there are times where he's unbelievable. Other times he's frustrating, always delivers on the defensive side. I think it's safe to say that the only shock or surprise here is that AD does not get an extension. I think everybody believes that that's going to happen. This is the part that I think is a really, really good description of Anthony Davis. And you tell me, what you feel about this. It says, I think the Lakers are realistic about Davis, viewing him as having the talent of a most valuable player candidate and the ability to show it for stretches, but not the durability and consistency to be an MVP. I think that's a really, really good description of Anthony Davis. And listen, if I was telling you don't know the name, that, hey, the Lakers are going to go out and get this player, and here's how I'm going to describe this player, and he's going to take X amount of dollars, $250 over the next 5 years if you add this upcoming year and next year as well, plus the 3-year extension. If you said I'm describing the player to you, that viewing him as having the talent of a most valuable player candidate and the ability to show it for stretches, but not the durability and the consistency to be an MVP, what would you think of that player? Take the Anthony Davis piece out, but the description of what that player is.
I mean, I think it sounds like a pretty good player. I mean, how many players are even possible to put in the MVP conversation to begin with? You know what I mean? Like the idea that somebody couldn't end up an MVP.
What's that number? You think 5 a year, maybe 7 at most?
Yeah. I mean, like really true. I'm not talking about the guys who get like 1 4th place vote or something like that. Like I'm talking about the guys who are perennially
Luka,
part.
Giannis, Steph, Embiid,
Jokic,
Joker. I think after that,
I mean, LeBron
KD,
in his
maybe
prime.
Tatum, maybe.
Exactly. I mean, and some of these guys are a revolving group of players, but for the most part, you're talking about 10 players max, probably not that many.
I agree, not that many.
So the idea that somebody
10 you're getting to like Devin Booker and some of these other
right.
guys.
So like the idea that somebody couldn't end up perennially in the MVP conversation, that doesn't mean that they're not a really great player. Now, does it mean that you might need a little bit more help around that guy, or that guy might not be a true undisputed, you never have to worry about it franchise face? Sure, but again, how many players are that guy to begin with?
Even the MVPs need help. So It doesn't even matter. It's even the top 5 guys. What do you think? Steph's going to carry a team on his own? Of course not. Joker needed Jamal Murray to come back and do what he did. And by the way, all those other players.
Right.
But I think the question is this, and I think this is what it runs into to Anthony Davis. You're not wrong about saying, think about what it is and how small that number is of players that are actually in the MVP conversation. Let's do this when we come back. There was a view on Anthony Davis that we had when he got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, and I don't think the conversation was he's the 10th, 11th, 12th best player in the NBA. Now, that's okay. Lakers have obviously had success with him. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming back. Stay right here, Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
710 ESPN.
You make me feel. You make me feel.
All right, time for another Michelob Ultra watch party to support the women's national team. Join us tomorrow in the city of Anaheim at Angelo's Burgers, starting at 6 p.m. for a pregame party and happy hour. The address, 511 South State College Boulevard. Chris Morales and the 710 Street Team will be there with fabulous prizes to give away, presented by Michelob Ultra. Proud supporter of Team USA. Make sure you get out that if you're out in the Anaheim area.
Do you guys think that by come Monday, we'll still be talking about the U.S. women's national team? Because this is the first game of the knockout round. They're playing Sweden. Do you think they have a chance? Sweden is a juggernaut. Would you be disappointed in the U.S. women's national team at all if they don't get past this first stage of the knockout round?
I think they've created, and something that the USA men's national team has never done, they've created real expectations. Like, you actually now are just accustomed to the women's national team for USA making a deep run. So the fact that they were that close to being eliminated and not even getting to this stage, I hope it kind of, maybe wakes them up a little bit. We saw some of the quotes, Carly Lloyd, what was that, a few days ago or so. Maybe it wakes them up a little bit. But it sounds like just talent-wise, as you're explaining, and even just to get to this, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they're out.
They're all pretty young, and it's a coach this is his first time the World Cup with the U.S. women's national team. He did coach them through the Olympics this past time, and they failed in the Olympics as well. So it could be also attributed to this coach. There's a lot of stuff going on with the women's national team that, it's not the same team that we've been expecting to see the past 2 World Cups where they just dominate. So I would be excited if they get past Sweden because that means that there's potential, but who knows? But I would love to go to that watch party in Anaheim. It sounds really fun.
Jorge, what do you think?
It is a final.
You started doing your breaking it down.
What do you mean?
You were about to talk right when I started going. I'm saying
I was just going to ask if they had the same coach, but she just mentioned that it's not the same coach. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So we're hitting on Anthony Davis for a quick second. So for those who don't know, extension potentially looming for AD, probably get another 3 years on top of it. The point you were trying to make is AD not being in the MVP conversation should not all of a sudden make people think less of Anthony Davis, that there's only a few players that are even in that conversation. But let's go back a couple of years, because I think a couple of years ago we started creating something, and even when the Lakers got Anthony Davis, I don't know if the conversation when they got AD, if we all just were I thought AD was one of the best players in the league. I thought he needed a player like LeBron to take his game to another level. He needed some help. He needed to be with a franchise that's trying to compete for a championship, and all that's been accomplished with the Lakers. They got a championship. He got help. LeBron's been there, and he's still as good as he is. At the same time, if you'd have told me 3 years ago, hey, Anthony Davis every single year is competing for an MVP, I'm not telling you that's the goal. I'm just saying that's how good he is. I would not have been surprised. I would have said, yeah, that sounds about right. Look how dominating he is on defense, and look at his skill set on offense.
Look, Anthony Davis has the talent to be a perennial MVP candidate. I'm not denying that. But there are a few factors, mainly health, that get in the way with it. Health and availability is an issue for Anthony Davis. That's something baked into the cake that the Lakers know when they, I think, inevitably put this max extension offer out to Anthony Davis to sign. You do this recognizing there's going to be some missed games, and you just cross your fingers hoping for as few as possible. Thankfully, Anthony Davis has avoided really major injuries during this period. He just gets hurt and misses time a lot. And, there's a little bit, I guess, of demeanor sometimes that people think Anthony Davis lacks. Like, you wish that he felt more like just an outward killer, like somebody that you feel like wants to have the franchise on his back and do everything that comes with putting the franchise on his back. Like, to be the leader that sometimes Anthony Davis doesn't always feel like, even though by all accounts I think he's professional. I think he cares about losing.
I agree.
I think he is somebody who tries to rally teammates, all that stuff. But, like,
You're saying not in his DNA to have this.
Look, man, leadership at that type of level, it's not just hard, it's rare. Like, think about how many players feel like they are that type of leader. LeBron, Steph, Dame is definitely one of those leaders. Jimmy Butler, I think, is one of those leaders. Maybe,
or you could be one of those great leaders, but you just don't have the skill set of the names of the guys that you just talked about.
Derek Fisher was an awesome leader. He was never going to be that type of player. Lamar Odom, for all of his inconsistencies as a player, Lamar Odom was the heart of those Kobe and Pau championship teams. Like, Lamar was the emotional leader of those teams without question. Like, everybody leads in different ways.
There's it's part of the conversation has always been with Anthony Davis is he at any point going to say, all right, Bron, you did everything you can. This is why I came here, is that eventually you can pass the baton to me, whatever. I don't pay too much attention.
The plan had been for that to have already happened by now.
Probably a couple years ago.
Yes.
Right?
They're behind schedule, I think, on what they anticipated.
Well, is it safe to say, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I think just Anthony Davis is who he is, which is an unbelievable player that can dominate one side of the floor and can also be a little more inconsistent on offense. But I think eventually what's going to happen is when Bron either decides to stop playing, or maybe next year he waives that player option, he's no longer a Laker and he's playing with his son or something along those lines, I think it's going to have less to do with, well, AD grabbed the franchise. I think maybe the franchise just might fall on his lap, and he's going to need some help when that happens.
Well, he's going to need some help in the same way LeBron, even in his prime, needed help.
Sure.
Everybody needs help. What I do think, though, is interesting about AD when it comes to the question of offensive inconsistency, sometimes it does feel like AD does not put his stamp on games offensively in the way that other elite players do. But the reality is he averaged 26.5 points per game last season. That's a lot of points. I'm looking at his...
Especially when you're sharing with some other guys on the floor.
Right.
Obviously, you're playing with Braun.
I'm looking at his splits right now. Like, in wins, he averaged a little under 28. In losses, 23.5. But even then, 23.5 in losses, still a lot of scoring. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. A lot of Anthony Davis's perceived inconsistencies offensively are specifically linked to he's teamed up with LeBron. LeBron is entering his 21st season. He's got insane mileage, and you're specifically trying to reduce the lift and burden on him at this stage of his career. So in a lot of ways, you need more because of where LeBron is. If LeBron was 32, people would be looking at Anthony Davis's offensive production saying, that's unfair. Like, you're giving 32-year-old LeBron this guy on top of it? Like, a lot of it really, I'm not absolving AD from any need to raise his game even that much more, but some of this is really specific to what LeBron needs at age 39 going into the 21st season.
Where I think AD hurt himself. And you tell me, AD can have 2 games, all right? So game 1, he'll have 32 points and 17 rebounds and 4 blocks. Okay, and he'll take 18 shots, and he got to the free throw line 9 times. The problem with Anthony Davis, there were times, like you said, hey, look at what he averaged. He's averaging 26 points. But in that second game, he might have 17 points.
It's not back-to-back, though, right? Because he doesn't play back-to-back.
You're right. I mean, listen, it's 17 points, it's 11 rebounds, and he got to the free throw line 2 or 3 times. That was always, I think, the frustration with Anthony Davis. There were a lot of nights where it was, damn, AD, but look what you just... How can those numbers be so drastic? When you average it out, 26 is a great number. When you average it out, you go look at the numbers, but sometimes you would watch Laker games, at least for me, and it's how much impact did you have in that game, and why is it so drastic from one to the other? I think that was the frustration.
Here's what I
with
think.
Laker fans.
I don't think the swings overall are necessarily that wild, in all honesty. And even if it was, say, like 17, 18, that's also not nothing. Where I do think, though, some of the coming up short with AD is fair to criticize or is fair to wonder about the impact, feel like the impact is lessened, is the fourth quarter. AD has not been a great fourth quarter scorer. And I think where that's
where
often...
he takes 1 or 2 shots, too,
right.
where it's not even that he's involved.
Exactly, where it doesn't feel like AD is really putting the stamp on the game in the fourth quarter, and in tight games, the fourth quarter feels like the highest leverage moments. That's the part where I actually think, if you look at the scoring in total for AD, I think he's actually more consistent than he gets credit for, or sometimes perceived. But I think the perception often comes from the fourth quarter.
When's the last time you went to Disneyland?
I went to Disneyland when my daughter was about 4, something like that.
So
4
a few
or
years
5.
ago?
That was about 7 years ago.
7
8
years ago. Okay. Are you and I take it, just because if you haven't gone in that long, not a fan?
I mean, it's fine. I've been a couple times when I was a kid. You know, I'm not a massive Disney guy when it comes to like all the characters and things like that. So unless my daughter really wants to go, now she might want to start going more because she's really into roller coasters and rides. When she was really young, a lot of it kind of scared her. Like, basically, we did 2 things the entire time we were at Disneyland.
Okay.
It was kind of a bust. One, she found this door in front of the Sleeping Beauty ride that she just kept kind of playing with the door. It was outside of it. She was really fascinated by this door. We killed about an hour where she was playing. I'm not joking. Where we were playing with this door, and then she eventually went through the Sleeping Beauty. It's not even a ride, really. It's like I think it's like a walkthrough or something like that. The other thing she did, she found the guy dressed as Pluto at the park, and she really liked the Pluto character, she kept inching closer to Pluto, inching closer to Pluto, inching closer to Pluto, and then we get close and she gets scared and run off. So we killed about an hour and a half where she was just like trying to make her move towards meeting Pluto, but then kept losing her nerve. Eventually, I kind of picked her up and we took a picture with Pluto.
I always find it when everybody...
It was a really fun day.
Anybody goes to Disneyland. So M's going to Disneyland literally right after the show. I always find Disneyland, it's like there's...
Police escort.
There is either the people that... And you got people that have like the annual passes and they're going 10 times a year. And then you have other people that are like, I've been there once and I never want to go again. I don't really feel like there's an in-between.
I have a cousin who is like a Disney freak.
Yep.
And every time she's ever in Florida or California...
An enthusiast.
No, she's my cousin. I love her. I've known her forever. She's a freak with this. She's a straight-up freak. She loves Disney World, Disneyland, all things Disney. A little obsessive about it. She, that's the extreme you were talking about.
Yeah, we go
That's
twice a
one
month.
side.
Twice a month, maybe.
Twice a month?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like so close to it. Twice a month, we go for dinner, ice cream. Like, I have a 4-year-old, so she's scared of the big rides anyway.
But people in, like what you just said about how close it is, there is a lot of, hey, you can go after 2 o'clock,
Exactly.
3 o'clock.
I
And
go
you
after
can still
5.
spend 6, 7 hours there, 5 hours there, whatever the case is, and especially if you have a kid.
I go after 5, 6, 3 hours, and I'm tired, dude, just for a walk.
I took my nieces, I don't know, it was 3-4 months ago, something like that. And my sister and my brother-in-law, God bless them, they don't go on anything. Like, they think Space Mountain is like bungee jumping. I'm like, guys, it's Space Mountain. Everything's going to be fine. But we took my little nieces, who are 7 and 5, had never been on these rides. They freaking loved every second of it. I was surprised how much I enjoyed going, and I hadn't been in a while, too. So it's been a little bit.
Yeah, we just went to Knott's maybe a few months ago.
I don't think I've ever been to Knott's Berry Farm.
The rides are really good.
Uh-huh.
Pro tip, the food is not good at all. Like, it just, fair warning.
People travel from around the world to go to Knott's Berry Farm because of their cuisine.
Well, but
There's
okay.
one of the best chefs in the country.
Best place
Chef
to order.
Knott.
Best place to order off the menu. Like you just go in there, ask for a little something that isn't on the big board in front of you.
You just go to the back. Who made these chicken tenders? I want to meet them.
The reason I bring this up is, for example, like during spring break, we went to a couple amusement parks for my daughter because, again, she's really getting into this stuff.
Yeah.
Knott's Berry Farm, the rides are awesome. Like, they're really good. Ghost Rider, she was really into going on the huge one. This thing is massive. And
Wooden coaster.
Yeah, a wooden coaster. Like, it is huge. A lot of fun. I went on all these with her. We also went to Universal Studios.
Okay.
Rides, not as good. Food, surprisingly good. So there can be these different ebbs and flows.
When's the last time has she been to Six Flags?
We were going to go to Six Flags when we were visiting my family in St. Louis.
Uh-huh.
They were closed, though. I guess the winter came about. I'm going to try to take her in between we get back from vacation, school starting. I can't promise.
Do it, man. Hi, guys. Just
Hey.
popping back in here. I got nothing else to do. Magic Mountain, go. When's the last time you went now?
Within a year.
Yeah, I went a year.
Actually, I think I've only gone twice in my life, but I went within a year.
It was fun. I took my daughter last year. She was 12 at the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, you're old enough now. And
Yeah.
then we took my daughter, Maddie, that wants to be an actress. She was a little short for a couple of the rides. Then there's nothing like seeing a little kid be all brave. Yeah, I got this. And
then you're in line.
And they're like, like, no, suck it up. I don't care if you're crying. I waited an hour and a half. No, stay here. It's hot. Those misters don't work.
Well,
you're
got
gonna
good
go
rides.
on.
They got good rides.
Yeah, but if the kids get scared,
Yeah, no.
oh, well, suck it up. And then what happens? They get done. Oh, that was fun. You were right. Dilberto, you're right. And then they go and cry to their mom. He made me cry.
And then do they still want to go on the other rides?
Oh, absolutely.
So they got to build up that.
Hey, if I paid all that
excitement
money,
again.
you're not going home.
Hell yeah, you're staying here.
I'm staying all
That's
day long.
reasonable. Like Six Flags, so much more reasonable.
Remember when we were young, you used to get the Twicket? Oh, you didn't grow up here. So you used to go to Magic. No, because
I didn't.
No, yeah, you grew up in L.A. You go to Magic Mountain, and they used to, on the way out, when you get the funnel cake, you gotta get the funnel cake on the way out.
Yep.
You could buy a Twicket, which would be $1 ticket to come back within the next 30 days. So there was always like, oh, that's the catch.
Damn.
Don't worry, girl. I'll bring you back.
I used to
I'll bring
take
you
the
back.
Coke can.
Yeah,
Remember the Coke
it
can?
would be on the Coke can, the
Yeah.
sign. Like when Superman came out, It'd be on the sign right there, and then nobody ever went back because then you realize I live an hour away, man. My car can't get up there twice.
When me and my girl went a year ago, whenever we went, and tickets to get in was like $100, something like that.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, just get the annual pass. It's $85, whatever it was, whatever number that you gave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all they want. They just want you coming back.
Universal does that too.
And like you said, it's so far. It's like if they could just get you back, that's primarily that's the goal.
You take your daughter to Knott's?
I took her to Knott's in April, I think it was.
All right. Yeah, Knott's is cool. It's reasonable. My daughter's soccer team went last Tuesday, and I went, and the moms are hanging out because at Knott's you could drink, right? So and air conditioning, hang out. Okay, girls, check in after the ride. Hey, we're alive. All right, we'll leave. Oh no, I was in line because if I'm paying the $65 and I paid $50 for the VIP parking because I didn't want to walk that day because it was hot, I was in line. And the girls like, you really gonna go with us? And about halfway through, I'm like, damn, my neck hurts. Because this that wooden cyclone at 45, it hurts, man. It hurts.
What I have found, though, is, and I know it's more expensive, I know everyone can't do it. If you can do it, the Fast Pass is worth it. Mm-hmm. Like, it is absolutely.
At Disneyland?
At any of them.
Oh, any of them?
Any
they have
of
it
them.
at Knott's?
They have it at Knott's, yes.
You know what?
It is worth it.
Yeah, but you know what? These kids got to learn what it's like to be in
No,
line.
but
they got to learn when their phone
gotta wait in line.
I was going to say, I don't need to learn jack about being in line.
Yeah.
I've learned it. The
Now,
problem
if
is I'm with them.
you and Mrs. Lovely, Anna Kamenetsky, want to go to Disneyland, you better splurge for her because it's just you two.
No.
Punk kids, no. You need to be there, and you got to learn how to
You want
talk.
the churro or the front of the line?
No,
No.
Also, too, because it teaches you a lot about patience. When you're in an hour in line.
Again, I don't need to learn this.
No,
She
the
can learn
punk
this
kids,
on,
though. The
right.
punk kids. Not
She
your
can
kids.
learn
Your
it
kids
on
not.
her own time,
Beto,
not my
you should
time.
buy it for you and make everybody else wait in line.
Absolutely. Now, when I took my daughter to Disneyland, I did all that stuff. No problem. Me and her.
Mm-hmm.
All the other kids? No. I ain't paying for all of you. No.
All right, should Shaq be on everybody's top 10 NBA player list? We'll do that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
Coming up this afternoon after
right, of course, AK filling in all week. Beto Duran in studio as well.
Popping in, popping out. Let's go.
It is the Waba Grill lunch hour on 710 ESPN. Thanks to our friends over at Waba Grill. You've got to try Waba Grill's new Asian-inspired Boom Boom Taco Trios. With your choice of chicken, ribeye steak, or shrimp, visit your local Waba Grill location or order online to pick up or delivery at wabagrill.com. Waba Grill, eat smart, be healthy. Does anyone watch? Yesterday, the NFL officially started preseason football. And I know, look, we just get into August and there's already a little bit of excitement because you know you're not that far away from football starting. Who watches Browns and Jets yesterday?
Gamblers.
Are people watching Browns and Jets yesterday?
Yes, gamblers.
Gamblers.
Did you watch it? Did you see any of it? I didn't watch it. Did Emily?
It was on at that one hotel I was at, but I did not glue myself to the TV.
Yeah, there was already a bad beat yesterday. There was a guy who put $2,400 on the Jets Cleveland halftime to win $18,000. Lost.
Oh my gosh. What does it say if you're? I mean, if
no, because preseason lines are a little iffy sometimes. So you can make some money. I'm a degenerate.
You got some experience there.
Oh, absolutely. If it's on.
Okay, what do you mean? What do you mean that it's
because the sharps aren't as used? They're not ready for it yet, so you don't quite know what the.
You're never even quite sure who's going to play.
Yeah, sure. So it's more up in the air.
Yeah. So like the over under yesterday was 33.5,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it went over. Like on a was it with one of the last plays. So you're not quite sure. The numbers are a little different because they don't know what's going on. They don't know who it is. So sometimes they skew a little off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can make some money there if you know what you're going on. Like I'm talking about the real gamblers, right? Me, I'm just like, Browns, let's go.
Hey, Kate, do you ever bet? Do you ever bet on games or?
I used to bet a lot back when I had more disposable funds and not a child.
Oh, don't let that stop
consider
you.
a future.
Come on, a 529 account will not grow as much as the Packers on a Sunday night.
I mean, do you care about her future? You need to bet more.
Yes,
that's true.
That's teaching them
more
money.
opportunity to save.
That is true.
Like when I took the kids to Del Mar. Hey, a
scared money don't make money. You're right.
Exactly. Let's go.
When I was
wait till you see how much USC cost a day. You better start gambling.
Oh, she ain't going there.
JUCO, baby. Let's go.
When I was like 19, 20 years old, cousin of mine, it's so stupid. And I never bet on a consistent basis. I never did anything like that. My cousin told me, he's like, hey, man, you watch a lot of SportsCenter. We should probably bet. I'm like, yeah, for sure. You know, I had no idea what's going on. My cousin's a few years older than me. So we started betting on these 3-team parlays.
Yes.
In baseball.
Oh, no. You went deep.
3-team parlays in baseball.
Al, you started football, bro.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I had no idea what I was doing. And my cousin, I guess, influenced me enough to think that because I watched a couple SportsCenter highlights that I knew what the hell I was talking about. All right, I'm gonna give one game. This is gonna be my one game of an example, and you could literally go back. I forget what
this is
year
at San Diego State.
I'm at San Diego State at the time. Okay,
early 2000s. Okay,
there was a game between. We had already lost a couple in a row, so at this point we're behind.
The fact that you remember this vividly is amazing.
So we're already behind now. Whatever the dollar amount, but at that time that's a high dollar amount when you're in college and you're not making any money.
Mm-hmm.
So we're already behind. I think we had lost like 3 separate times we bet. We lost 3 times in a row. So we decided, like, you know, a really smart investor would say, well, let me put it all on this game. Basically, I'm either back to even or I'm double the amount of losses that I was. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was the Yankees in the early 2000s, right? So think about those Yankees teams against the Detroit Tigers, who had, I think, the worst record in Major League Baseball at the time. So we went all in on this Yankees-Tigers game. The game was in New York. And basically, we're trying to get back to even and never bet again. Okay?
Get my $50 back.
Beto, game starts. I think they go up like 4-1.
Let's go.
Yankees go up 4-1. And then it's like 7-1.
Let's go.
And I'm thinking I'm good to go.
Oh,
right?
no. Oh, no.
And listen, you know, obviously, I mean, unless you had, even at that time, you don't have access to watch a Yankees game. I don't have access at San Diego State to watch a Yankees game. So I'm doing the whole Gamecast, ESPN.com, everything else. I could see by pitch and everything else.
All right.
7-1 becomes like 7-3. I'm like, all right.
And in baseball, you bet the money line, so there we go.
I'm like, all right, I think we're still okay. And then it's like 7-5 in the 8th inning. Okay? All right. 9th inning comes. We're tied at 7. The Tigers and the Yankees are going to extra innings. It was the longest game that year. It went 17 innings. 17 innings.
Oof.
Yankees eventually went up 8-7. Or no, Yankees, how did this play out? Yankees went up, I think, 9-7 or something like that. So now they're trying to close out the game. Tigers, again, tie it at 9. Yankees eventually won in 17 innings. There was a couple guys on second and third. They ended up winning the game 10-9 was the final score. Got my money back. Never played. Literally never bet again other than stupid
2003
BS fantasy.
here, Allen Sliwa.
Okay.
Roger Clemens on the mound.
That's another. And by the way, who's a pitcher on the other one? He had, I think,
the Rocket misfired again. Rocket Clemens remained one victory shy of career win number 300 when all of a sudden the Tigers rallied from 6 down to spoil history on a Sunday.
Yep, on
May
a Sunday.
31st, Memorial Day weekend. What the heck are you doing betting Yankees Tigers? You should have been at Papa's and Beer, bro. Come on. Memorial Day weekend?
I was stressed out as hell that day. Bro, if you look at the pitcher for the Tigers that pitched that day, I'm not kidding when I say he had the most losses. Like, he was on pace to break a record for how many losses in a year. I forget the guy's name. But it's funny that you saw that. It's funny that you saw it, and you said they came back from 6 down. They were down 7-1. I remember all the details.
10-9 was the
10-9
victory.
the final score.
What's wrong with you?
It's not a good day.
I remember
not a good day.
It's like in the mid 90s, like mid to late 90s. I bet this Pacers. I think it was Pacers Mavericks game, and both teams were bad. Like, they were both dealing with some injuries, but the Pacers had Reggie Miller. So I'm like, all right, you know what? They're both pretty bad, but one team has Miller. I'm going to take Miller. In like the first 5 minutes of this game, Reggie Miller got ejected.
Oh,
I was like, are you kidding me?
But you got Detlef Shrimp still.
I lost.
Okay, we all have. I'm sure, Beto, you have unbelievable betting stories.
Oh, I was running parlay cards in high school for my AP English teacher. That's how I got past that class. I was supposed to take the AP English test. Oh, no, I didn't even show up because that teacher hooked me up. I got an A in that class. My sister, to this day, Gloria, who's a fancy interior designer, will tell people that to be the middleman, my sister would drop off the parlay card to my teacher and then would collect the money back. And then I legit, Al, was getting phone calls on Thanksgiving from teachers like,
oh, my
hey,
gosh.
what do you got on the Cowboys-Vikings? So, yeah, I was running parlay cards in high school, bro.
Bro, I'm
AP students, bro. Look, I'm telling you, the smart kids, because when you're in statistics class in college, I think I figured it out. I got a system. Oh, yeah. Remember that movie where they went to Vegas and counted cards?
Oh, yeah.
The kids from MIT?
Yep.
It's always the smart kids.
Bringing down the house.
Yeah. The smart kids always think they got a system.
Bringing Down the House was the book. It's really good. The movie, I think, was called 21.
I just looked it up. Soriano and Posada homer in 17th for the
yeah. Steve Sparks, bro. Steve Sparks.
Final score. All right, we got Joe in Sherman Oaks. Joe, what's going on?
Hey, guys. I was just commenting on the Disney conversation from earlier because there's people that think, there's Disney freaks and we enjoy it. And I have an annual pass, and my mother-in-law brings us all the time. And there's only one way to do Disney, and if you don't do it that way, you have a miserable time and you think Disney is awful. There's no reason anybody should ever nobody should ever wait an hour and a half in a line. You have to get there early.
Nope.
You have to be there at 8 o'clock.
Nope.
Suck it up.
Nah.
You
Keep
have
going.
to.
Keep
You
going.
do it. You
Keep
get
going.
in. You do some rides. You get out for lunch. You go to downtown Disney. You go get lunch, grab a margarita, chill out, hang out, go back to the park once the lunch rush is done, use your fast pass, and then when everyone's going to the parade, you do the big ride.
That's too much work.
No.
That's too much work.
But I want to watch the parade.
Don't get mad at me for waiting in line for an hour and a half. Like,
Joe,
how are you doing that?
Joe,
Nobody's waiting an hour and a
my
half.
fault.
Joe, they're hating on your good idea. I think it's a good game plan.
That's too much work.
First of all,
8
I got
a.m. in the morning.
That's how you do it, and then you have a fun time, and you go back, and that's why.
That's
we
how
all
you
go
do it,
back,
Jorge.
'cause we
Come
know
on.
what we're doing.
So we got to leave the house at 5.
Joe, appreciate you calling in.
But then you got to park, and the tram takes forever. You got to be there at 8. Like, come on.
Bro, my sister.
You haven't even walked the dog by 8
Okay,
o'clock.
how about this? My sister, they're getting there at 8 a.m., so they're driving from San Diego. So they're coming up. They're leaving at 5
Well, they
a.m.
should.
just to
They're-
get
yeah,
here.
They're from out of town, yeah.
That's
Talking
the way
about the
to do it.
locals. What's up? Let's go.
Yeah, locals, man. I got to eat breakfast at Denny's first. and then you drive there.
8 o'clock with kids? You got to get them up and ready to go?
All right, Beto, I'm going to see. Let's do this when we come back. John in
Steve
Thousand
Sparks.
Oaks has a good betting story. will add to the Detroit Tigers and the Yankees
The
game
worst
from
team of the year,
2003.
2003.
Bro, that was as
Juan
stressful as
Acevedo,
possible.
baby. We're going to just throw names at you. Eric Munson.
All right, stay right here. We'll be right back. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
So Al and I are teaming up for your chance to win an entire office full of lunch from Waba Grill. So you're going to want to be listening all day during the 12 o'clock lunch hour for your cue to call to pick up food for the entire office, courtesy of Waba Grill.
We got some ribeye, we got some chicken, we got some shrimp.
I'm making it sound like I cooked them myself. Look at these boom boom tacos.
You can visit wabagrill.com. You can order online. Just go on in, get yourself some of these tacos. Visit your local Waba Grill location. Of course, walk right in. Of course, you can order online for delivery or pickup. Waba Grill, right? Eat smart, be healthy. Boom boom, kaboom.
Be healthy. Who's caller number 7, Jack? Let's find out. The Waba Grill Workplace of the Week winner right now. Take it away, Trav.
Trav next week. Trav is going to take it away next week. We have our winner. I want to welcome in Boyd Prizer from Santa Clarita. Boyd, thank you very, very much for listening to 710. Congratulations. You're caller number 7. And you win this week's Waba Grill Workplace of the Week. My man, how does it feel to hook up your office?
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
All right, well, thank you. Listen, appreciate you tuning in. You're winning the Waba Grill. Where do you work exactly?
I work in construction. We have a construction company in L.A., so.
All right, perfect. So you're going to take care of your crew. Waba Grill is going to take care of you as well. Again, thank you for listening to 710 ESPN, and thank you for being a part of this, all right?
All right, thank you very much.
All All right, thanks to everybody who's listening all week long during the Waba Grill lunch hour on 710 ESPN. We do it every single week, so thank you for being a part of it. Beto, I think we want to hear a so he went into the details of that game, the Tigers and the Yankees. There was a lot of storylines in that one game where Yankees had one of the best records in all of Major League Baseball. Tigers had one of the worst. Roger Clemens was on the mound looking for his, you said, 300th
win for Roger Clemens. He had 60 friends and family in attendance. His son Kobe was 16. They dressed him up. He was able to be in the dugout with them. Reggie Jackson flew in, was there. Everybody was there.
I put all my money on this game.
Sold out game in Detroit. Ernie Harwell, the Hall of Famer who retired the year before, came out of retirement to call that game. But to no avail.
Got the no decision.
No decision. Here's some names for you. Jeremy Bonderman, who ended up having a record for the most losses in the season, was going up against Clemens.
We went all in.
Joe Torre was the manager. Robin Ventura was there. Let's see who else we here. You
all
had
the big names. Posada still there, obviously. Yep.
All that good stuff. But he gave up a homer to Shane Halter. Oh, no, he struck out Halter. Then he gave up a homer to a guy named Gene Kingsale, who hadn't connected all season long.
His first home run of the year.
When it started going downhill. A 2-run homer, then he got taken out.
Listen, I told you the money that I decided to put into this.
Dude, Sliwa.
It was stupid.
I thought you were going $50.
No, this was bad.
How much was it?
It was bad.
Not enough for Swifty, but yeah.
Yeah. I was trying
High
to catch
triple
up.
digits?
Let's just say Sliwa didn't. Look,
I was trying to catch up.
The money he just told me that he could have won, forget the taco man. He was going to buy the taco business. He was going to have the carts all over.
No, I was going to just not put myself in jail because I would have no way of paying the bookie, the underground bookie. All right, let's take a quick call here. John in Thousand Oaks has a good betting story. What's going on, John?
Hey, guys. Happy Friday. Hope you're well. Love me some Travis, but Beto, you bring a good sense of entertainment, man. I love hearing your voice. So
appreciate it, man. I just jump in here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Hey, Sliwa, you're the man too.
That was Kamenetsky.
Give your guest of honor some props.
That was Brian Kamenetsky. How dare you?
This is perfect. All right, let's hear the betting story.
All right. So I know you guys are talking about bets that you should have won, but you lost, and I kind of have the complete opposite of that. Whatever year the Patriots were 18 or 19-0, whatever it was, and they were playing the Giants in the Super Bowl,
07.
I had a friend who was a huge gambler, and he was telling me, he's like, you got to put some money on this game. The Patriots are amazing, this, that, whatever. I ended up putting $100 on the game for the Giants to cover the spread, and my buddy was asking me about it. I was like, yeah, I put $100. I'm going to win $500. He's like, yeah, you did not bet the spread. You bet the Giants to win straight up. So I thought my money was as good as gone, and a few hours later, we're $500 richer than we were before.
Yeah.
So
the money line for a guy who didn't know what he was doing. Get out of here.
By the way, that
no
helps.
idea what I was doing.
That helps, John. Appreciate you.
I don't know
calling
what
in.
I'm doing, and I win extra money. Yeah.
Listen, tell me that doesn't happen every time there's.
Yeah, we don't like those people.
Use March Madness. Use Super Bowl. Doesn't matter. Like all the big events.
I'm gonna pick all the animals.
Oh yeah, that happens. Mascots.
Well, that's like the difference. Like if I do gamble now, I tend to play more table games, like card games, specifically Hold'em.
Mm-hmm.
I do that more than sports gambling.
You can control that.
That's the well, I was going to say
to an extent.
That's
until
the
there's
difference.
somebody who doesn't play very often, has no idea what they're doing.
Well, no, but that's the difference between poker and blackjack. If you're playing poker, you don't need to worry about the people who have no idea what they're doing. It takes something super random for them to end up beating you in a hand. Blackjack, the people who don't know what they're doing, they ruin it for the whole table.
Yeah, that kills you.
They mess up the entire
the
table.
ones who, I guess it's a bus card for a reason, people.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, let me split these aces. Okay.
They're the ones who mess it up for the entire table.
And then all of a sudden, oh no, 16, we can stop.
Do you guys
here.
play? I never. If I go to a casino and I'm probably just going to play Texas Hold'em, I don't play blackjack. People I know that spend hours at the blackjack.
It's all right.
table.
Poker holds my interest. I like poker the most.
It's fun. It's a strategy. You kind of take your time, and it's. You could be there for a couple of hours, and I'm with you on it.
I've had some fun I've had some fun good beats in poker, so that's always enjoyable.
There's always, I get caught up sometimes. You got some of those. It's part of your YouTube feed or something like that. And it's like a dude has quad 4s and another guy has 3 aces, and you're just watching it unfold of where the guy feels so good and confident it's over.
My favorite time
Pocket
ever.
fours.
My favorite time ever gambling in Vegas was this one time where I legitimately put another guy on tilt, and he was one of those guys that spent the entire time he was at the table telling everybody how they were betting wrong, how they played the hand wrong.
That guy.
Yeah, even though he kept reloading himself.
That guy.
Like, he kept buying more chips.
There's always
that guy.
Always that guy.
And I had a hand where I got dealt pocket aces. And the board came out. It was all low cards, and there were like straight and flush possibilities there. I pre-bet big, trying to get a lot of people out.
Yep.
This guy ends up staying with me. And each round, I kept betting. He kept staying in. Turns out, I put him all in. He calls me. He had caught 2 low cards.
Okay.
So he had 2 pairs against my aces. But in my mind, he kept calling me as opposed to re-raising, trying to get rid of me.
So you thought he was maybe chasing or something?
Well, it was more just if I were him, I would have been trying to get rid of me because I know, given that my 2 pair is low, there's straight possibilities, there's flush possibilities, I'm vulnerable. I got lucky here. I should try to get rid of this other guy. He kept trying to just keep me in. River comes out, I get an ace. So I get trips. I beat him.
Let's
This guy
go. Let's go.
loses his mind.
Steve Mason was
loses
upset.
his mind, going on and on. I'm like, you're an idiot. How would you possibly have stayed in? How would you possibly have stayed in? I said, dude, you were betting for me to stay in.
But those are my favorite. Those are my favorite.
Pay that
Right.
man
And
his
then a
money.
friend, but then a friend of mine comes over and he sees like I've got this big stack, and he's like, "Whoa, how did that happen?" And I explain the story in as soft a voice as I can, so it sounds like I'm being quiet, but as loud a voice as I can, so I know he can hear it. Yeah, destroyed him the rest of the game.
There is something about.
Look at that. I still got that smile on your face.
It's great.
Yeah.
Love it.
Poker is if you got 4 or 5 of your buddies, that's as fun as a night that you can possibly have as playing poker. One time I was in Vegas. I forget what it was. I think we might have even taken some clients back in the day. Took them to Vegas, and bro, sitting at those tables.
Nah, man.
I mean, there was one guy that was literally just like, "I'm so happy to see you, Alan. Please take a seat." And it just and when you talk about the mind games of having no idea, I'm like, this guy's clearly bluffing because he just sees me. No, he's got the hand. And then all the other times I was like, I mean, talk about sharks at the table.
Yeah.
They're waiting in Vegas.
You should know if you're showing up with 2 beers in your hands
Yep.
and they got nothing but water, like maybe you should not go there. You got to go.
Either that or they're in recovery, one or the other.
They're waiting for the dude in the
waiting.
name tag that's there for the convention.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
You know, he's in.
Well, it's like that
for-
scene in Rounders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Where they
That's
talk about
exactly
being in
that.
Atlantic City.
Yeah. Or
You've got-
like in Vacation with Chevy Chase, right? Let's just go. He's betting everything. Let's just
Yep.
go. It wasn't blackjack, but still. I mean, it wasn't poker, but yeah.
Ah.
That's why I played craps. Yo, 11. Yo.
Now that's a fun game
Oh,
with a big group, even with people who don't know.
You
what
got to
they're
go
doing.
for craps. You got to make sure the table has energy.
Right, but also the rest of the table can't screw it up for you.
Exactly. You just worry about your role, and that's
Right.
it, man.
Yeah, stay away from Vegas and those poker tables, man.
So Lakers
They're
going to Vegas
freaking
this year?
waiting.
Eh,
They're
not if you
waiting.
know what you're doing.
Every year.
Let's go.
Every year.
When are we going?
AK, you playing in Vegas? Have you played
Yeah.
in Vegas?
That story I told you that
Las
happened in
Vegas?
Vegas.
All right, that's good.
Kamenetsky's
Good
smart,
story.
though. He knows what's up, man.
That's a good story. I got the dump coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
So we got Scott Kaplan. He's in this afternoon show, Sedano and Cap. Scott Kaplan.
The confidence is up there. That goes without saying. I've always thought that, where you wear Nikes with a suit, it can be kind of a tacky look. But if you don't wear an undershirt and you wear those glasses, then maybe it pulls it together. So I'm going to give that one, just for the fact that he knows what he's doing, I'm going to give him a 6.
Would you wear that yourself?
No, never, ever, ever be seen in that.
Honestly, suit's not bad. The no undershirt raises it up a little bit to where I'd probably say 8.5.
Would you wear that fit?
100%.
Shoes on point. I get at a 7 too. Would you do the same thing? Show the little taco meat?
Definitely show the chest. Gotta show the chest.
I ain't gonna lie, it's different. You got the Dior shoes on it, the nice hat. I like the glasses. No shirt with the chain. He get a 10. I give my man an 8. I give him an 8 out of 10. He nice little drip.
Do you think you can pull that off with no shirt?
Nah, I don't think I can pull it out like he pull it out. Nah,
Yes, it's time for the dump.
All right, AK, if I said your favorite Will Ferrell movie of all time.
Well, that's funny. My daughter and I were just talking about that this morning.
It's just give me. You don't even have to give me one. Give me a couple that come to mind.
It's either going to be Elf or Old School.
Okay.
One of those two.
So Talladega Nights, The Legend of Ricky Bobby, came out in this day 2006.
That would not be one of mine. A lot of people like it. I thought it was fine, not great.
So I have a thing where there's a couple Will Ferrell movies on. If they're on, and it doesn't matter, it could be TBS. I know there's commercials coming. If Step Brothers is on, there's a very strong likelihood I'm stopping at Step Brothers.
Step Brothers is funny.
If Talladega Nights comes on, very good chance I'm stopping at Talladega Nights. When we were pretending earlier with our investigation, a lot of people were putting the other guys, Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell as well.
That's a really funny movie.
Very underrated. I feel like that's one of his better movies that's underrated.
That's a really, really funny movie.
My kid's Walker and Texas Ranger.
That's
Sweet baby Jesus. Well, if Jesus grew up, hun, you can pay it a different, not baby Jesus. Well, I like Christmas Jesus the most, and so you can pay whatever Jesus you want.
I actually think that's one of Will Ferrell's funniest movies. It's really, really great.
What is, Jorge, what's your favorite Will Ferrell movie?
Elf is up there.
Yeah,
Elf is up there.
Elf is so good.
Am I by myself on the Talladega Nights? Is it not as
No,
high
I love
up there?
Talladega Nights. I just don't think it's
Never seen it.
as
Never
good
seen
as
it?
Step
Oh,
Brothers.
you guys see it. Jorge,
never
you guys see it. It's really
Well,
good.
this weekend we'll see.
Step Brothers
I'm
is my
joking,
favorite.
If I was going to do
Step
like a
Brothers is my
Will
favorite.
Ferrell, John C. Reilly combo movie, I think Step Brothers is above Talladega Nights. But Talladega Nights is great because also Sacha Baron Cohen is amazing in it too.
Okay, in 2005, one of, I think, Emily and I's favorite shows came out this day in 2005. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Love it.
Look, I had no idea that you were a It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia
I listened
guy,
to their
which
podcast.
actually, oh, really?
Yeah.
I have not listened to it. How's
It's
it pod?
very funny. It's the three of them. They'll often talk about the episodes are basically part of them talking about specific episodes and then them also just riffing and talking. They're really, really funny. One of their regular producer/writers on the show produces the podcast. It's the three of them, three guys.
It's a great podcast.
It's really funny.
Yeah, they're, what are they now, 18th season or something like
Something
that?
like that.
Or
Something crazy.
And
And they only do a couple episodes now. They don't do as many episodes as they used to do. But every episode counts, and it's always great.
There was a recent one, friend of the show, Bryan Cranston.
I will say I have not. Oh, yeah, that's
was
right.
in it playing himself with
That's right.
Aaron Paul, also playing himself. Really funny.
I haven't seen the show. I haven't seen, like, the last couple of seasons I have not seen.
They're still good.
But, man, especially, too, I don't know if you've ever done this. On YouTube, they'll have just their bloopers. These guys are just freaking, they're too much, man. They are so good. If you've not watched It's Always Sunny in Philly, I know it's been out for a long time. It's one of my favorite
It's
shows
incredibly
that's out there.
rewatchable. So I lived in Philadelphia for 6 months. It was a very short time, but I loved my time there. But my friends and I, whenever we would go out, we would always do Flip Cup, and we go flip, flip, Philadelphia. And like it was everybody. If you said that at a bar, everyone would join in. It's such a big part of the city to have It's Always Sunny there. It's great. In the early seasons, they actually filmed a lot more in Philadelphia. Now they film it on lots and stuff here in LA, but it's great.
If I ever want to make myself laugh or just feel like laughing, I'll find on YouTube the clip where Dee does what she calls her P. Diddy boat dance. The gang gets this really rundown boat. Like they purchase this really rundown boat.
One of the best episodes.
They want to have like a yacht party, and they get in there and. In the beginning, the guys are like, "Oh no, this looks terrible," and Dee's like, "What are you talking about? This is awesome." She has a boombox and starts playing this song, doing like the Diddy dance from the videos, and it leads to her eventually in a dance-off against one of those inflatable used cars.
Yeah.
Inflatable dancing things at the
that's
used
what
car lot,
Max
the ones
said
that
she looks
flail
like.
around in the wind. Like, don't good. No, Dee, that's exactly what
Yeah,
you
I
look
also
like.
always think of
Dee's
the
hilarious,
gang.
too.
She's
The
so
gang
great.
goes to the Jersey Shore, and then
the rum
Frank
ham?
Frank and what's his name?
Mac?
But yeah, Frank and Mac have a rum ham. They lose it. It's like rum ham, like that. That Frank in his mind, he was like they wanted to go get drunk at the beach. In his mind, the best way to do it, obviously, is to get a ham soaked in rum because it's the best bang for your buck.
I feel like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia there are, I absolutely love it, and there's a lot of people that, no, I never watch a show. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of that.
It's
Jorge,
Never
really
seen an
funny.
episode. Never ever seen an
It's really funny.
This was kind of an interesting one, and I never really get caught up in this, but Shaquille O'Neal, Dr. J came up with his top 10 NBA player list. We're talking about Julius freaking Erving, one of the greatest basketball players in the history of the game. And Julius Erving,
sorry, guys. Breaking news.
Okay.
Adrian Wojnarowski, breaking. Lakers star Anthony Davis has agreed on a 3-year, $186 million extension, tying into the franchise through 2028 for a total of $270 million plus. Clutch Sports CEO tells ESPN. Davis lands richest annual extension in NBA history at $62 million.
Whoa, that's higher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I actually didn't know it could go up that high.
I didn't think it could go that high either.
Okay, so that is exactly what you said. That's incredibly... I don't think it's a surprise or a shock. We've spent the last week knowing that today was the day that it could potentially happen. Woj putting out there, AD extension. So expect Anthony Davis, a Los Angeles Laker, for potentially another 5 years. And AD getting, if you add all the totals up, you're talking about through 2028 and $270 million. AK, I don't think a shock to either one of us.
No, to me, the biggest surprise was that it happened today just because it was like, I don't know if Anthony Davis is even in town. He could be on vacation. There's no hurry to do this, but it is not surprising at all that it happened.
I think, listen, I said this before and I'll say it again. I think it's great for both sides. I think if you're Anthony Davis and you've been a player that has your health has been an issue, period. Your availability has been an issue. This gives you that security to know, all right, I'm all set. He could have took a risk. He could have said, you know what, I'm going to wait on my extension. I know Brian Windhorst was talking about this Hoop Collective podcast. If he waited, you can potentially get even another year. Takes him to 2029. Would you feel comfortable if you're Anthony Davis not taking a deal like this and grabbing that security?
Look, man, the way I see it, if I'm Anthony Davis, I'm already really rich. I'm going to be really rich no matter which extension I take. Take the money that's right in front of you.
Yeah.
When you've got that type of history, to me, it's a no-brainer.
And this says what I think is has always been the vision for the Lakers with Anthony Davis. We're not trying to just bring you here from New Orleans and you're only aligned with LeBron James. Anthony Davis will be a Los Angeles Laker once LeBron James decides he's done playing for the Lakers, done playing for the NBA, or he decides to go play somewhere else. Anthony Davis will still be.
Well, you know what this
future.
means? Now we get to play the guessing and rumor and projection game of who's the next star in LA alongside Anthony Davis. That's how we're going to bide our time for the next few years.
That's right. You want to start right now?
That's exciting.
Or... Let's do it right now.
Let me think about this.
Breaking news.
Luka Doncic, future Laker.
Breaking news is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Valvoline, home of the 15-minute instant oil change. Of course, the breaking news is AD has agreed on a 3-year, $186 million max extension, tying him to the franchise through 2028 for a total of $270 million plus. Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul tells ESPN, and as Emily mentioned, Davis lands richest annual extension in NBA history at $62 million. Every time I hear people say, can you believe Jaylen Brown got that much money? Can you believe this? It's just more timing than anything else.
Who is a free agent after this season or next season?
Actually, I've not looked at that.
I'm looking now. I'm trying to figure this out.
By the way, it's a fair conversation. I mean, I've said this to Travis. I would not be shocked if this is Bron's final year with the Lakers, based on what LeBron has said in the past of the wanting to play with his son and everything else. Or maybe Bron ends up with the Lakers for 3 more years, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's his final year.
I did not think LeBron was going to retire, but I don't think he was just throwing that out because he wanted to create a news cycle or wanted to take away from Denver or whatever. It's believable that, as he said, he thinks about this stuff because we can see it. It's getting harder for LeBron.
Michael Malone did not take any of that stuff personally.
No, not
did not
one
take
bit.
any of that stuff personally.
Not one.
All right, let's do
bit.
some Supercross talk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God.
When the
The shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger.
To join Travis and Slee.
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, Mason, Ireland. John, I'm going to start with this because this just happened 5 minutes ago. Lakers star Anthony Davis agrees to a 3-year, $186 million extension. AK and I spent a lot of the week saying that it's not a surprise. It makes sense for both sides. If you're Anthony Davis, grab that security. If you're the Lakers, he's one of the best two-way players in the NBA. Your thoughts on the extension?
Very happy. Glad it got done. When any of these things hang in the balance, you just don't want a situation like what's happening with James Harden when he's so mad at the franchise that he never wants to play again, or like what Kevin Durant did and demanded a trade. There's just not a lot of people that can do what Anthony Davis does. And I was confident this would get done because the Lakers have such a great relationship with Clutch, who represents AD and LeBron and a handful of other dudes. But I'm very relieved and happy that for both sides that AD got this done, and that the one thing Darvin Ham, and Andy, I know you guys talk about this a lot on Locked On Lakers. The one thing Darvin Ham hangs his hat on is defense. If you can't defend, I'll use a Darvin vernacular here. If you play yourself off the floor defensively, there's no future for you with the Lakers. And Anthony Davis is the best defensive big man maybe in the league. Giannis is right there with him in terms of a defender. Joel Embiid's excellent defensively, but AD on defense is as good as anybody, and so I'm really glad they got it done.
Yeah, Michael always said it is as much heat as AD would get sometimes because he had a game where he had 17 points and 11 rebounds, whatever it is.
Right.
We almost forget all the time that he's literally dominating the other side of the floor every single game, and other guys that dominate offensively don't get as much criticism what they can't do on the defensive side.
It is, and this is something that, Andy, you and Brian deal with on a daily basis. It is almost impossible to explain to people that your team is on defense literally half the time. 50% of the game is defense, but it's not flashy. It's not.
It's harder to quantify.
Yeah, there's very few people. I can only think of two, Ben Wallace and Dennis Rodman, that basically got into the Hall of Fame for defense and rebounding. That offense just wasn't a part of their games at all. AD is that. He's a defensive star like Ben Wallace or Dennis Rodman, and he gives you 20 and 10. Really 25 and 10. So you can't let a guy like that walk.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about, and I don't think the Lakers had any choice but to sign him to an extension.
I agree with you.
But you're signing
he
up.
Had a choice. AD had a choice.
AD had a choice.
Yeah.
But you're signing up for a guy who you're going to have for, is it 3 years after this coming year? Is that how it works?
4. So
4 years.
Basically,
5 years from
he's
right now.
He's accepting his early termination option season. Like he's not terminating out of that contract.
Right.
3 more on top of it. So it's 5 total seasons of Anthony Davis under contract.
So it'll be his age 30 through age 35 seasons, I think, right?
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, an NBA player is in his prime, according to most studies, between 28 and 33. So you're getting 3 years of his prime and then hope that he holds up.
But you're signing up for a guy who's there some of the time and not there some other time. I mean, he's a pillar of the franchise. As we saw, when he's healthy in the postseason, they can go very, very deep, got all the way to the Western Conference Finals. But realistically, you're still going to have to deal with that on a game. I mean, I'm already thinking about next year and thinking about Anthony Davis falling on the floor, which he does a fair amount of the time, and just holding my breath and thinking, oh, God, get back up, get back up.
Look at every year he's been here. Literally, he's healthy, you got a chance to win it all, or you won it. He's not healthy. You're either not making the playoffs or you're out in the playoffs.
Isn't that true about I mean, that's true about Embiid, right? And Embiid just won the MVP.
This is something Brian and I actually talked about on a recent Locked On Lakers podcast. You can get it 5 days a week anywhere you get your podcast.
Is there a YouTube component?
I was going to say, can I see it on YouTube?
Yeah. There is a YouTube component, as it turns out.
By the way, I think everybody's caught on to that now.
Well, it never hurts to remind
Never
him.
hurts to
Never
tell him.
hurts to remind him.
Exactly.
YouTube is actually really where the money's at.
Yes, it is.
But other than like Jokic,
yep,
it's hard to find any star player in the league that you really feel 100% secure about giving an extension to. Like, so many of the superstars around the league have injury issues, or even some of the younger guys, Zion, injury issues and to some degree professionalism issues. Ja Morant, professionalism issues. Like
that's a very politically correct way of putting it.
Certainly one way to put it. Like, LaMelo Ball just got a big extension. He's barely played.
No,
I think he played 9
has been
games
injured
last
a
year.
bunch.
Like,
Last year was a wash.
Anthony Edwards just got a mass extension. You can feel pretty good about that guy. Like Jamal Murray has an extension coming up. That guy has proven himself as a playoff killer at this point. He's got injury concerns.
Yes, he does.
Giannis even has injury concerns. There's almost...
You're right. Other than Jokic and Mikal Bridges, who is kind of an all-star now and like maybe the best guy on his team.
But you don't know yet if he's a true superstar.
I wouldn't even call him that superstar. He's good.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He might be, but he hasn't shown it yet. Especially with the way the cap is going up and the money's going up. Like, who do you actually feel great about giving $65 million a year to?
Yeah, you look at that, Jalen. I mean, for whatever. I mean, this is just the price of doing business, right? I mean, so the next level of players is going to get 70, and then the
timing,
and then 75,
but you're never
and it's going to keep growing up.
It's so much money. You're never going to feel
look
great
at the deal
about it.
Jaylen Brown just got.
Yeah.
And he's the highest paid player in the league, and he's been All NBA once.
But there is an element now that you're developing a situation where you've got the really well-paid guys and the guys that are playing for veterans minimums and the guys that are in between that. The number of those guys is shrinking all the time. The money is going to the top. There are veterans minimum guys, and then that middle class in the NBA is kind of disappearing.
Well, I don't know if it's disappearing, but what I think it is flattening in terms of the price that you're going to make. Like someone like D'Angelo Russell or Rui Hachimura, they're kind of the NBA middle class right now at about 17 or 18. I don't think you're going to see it go much higher for guys
the
like
middle
that.
class won't go up.
Well, what did Austin Rivers say? It's going to be, we're eventually headed for a system where you're going to make $50 million a year or $2.
Yeah.
Didn't LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, weren't they like 16 a year when they joined
14.
together? 14 a year.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
And they all took pay cuts.
Yeah, they all took pay cuts.
D'Angelo and all making more money when they were.
Well, that's Mason's point, that right now this looks like a lot of money to give to Anthony Davis, but in 3 years somebody's going to make more.
Mike Conley at one point had
was the highest paid guy in the league.
And perspective, just to talk about, tying in another sport, Patrick Mahomes is now the 8th highest paid quarterback in the NFL since Justin Herbert signed his. So then those numbers keep going up. It is an elevator, and someday we'll look at Jaylen Brown. At some point, we'll look at Jaylen Brown and say,
he's the 10th highest player.
Yeah, he's
hard as that is.
Yeah.
Remember when Kobe got the $48.5 million extension?
Yep.
I know some of the freak out was over the post Achilles, and they gave it to him sight unseen. He hasn't even returned yet, but still, that's $24 million a season, and he was one of those guys grandfathered into like an earlier pay scale.
We have Gumgate today.
Yeah, I've heard about this. So
I have new information.
Oh, new information.
Oh, wow.
First of all, if you're just tuning in, explain Gumgate. I only heard about it from Jorge on the side, but tell me what's going on.
Jorge, can you talk about it firsthand? Because you're also looking at the mouse pad that has gum on it, and it was at his location.
Yeah, I came in this morning, and I'm like looking around for my stuff, the log, the whole nine. And then I see the mouse pad, and then there's a piece of gum on it. I took a closer look, and it was a piece of gum.
Chewed gum. Left on the mouse pad.
On the mouse pad. So
on a shared work.
So whoever's chewing this gum, why would you put it there? And were you thinking of putting it back in your mouth afterwards?
Well, that mouse pad has been there for a very long time.
I have information that could blow this case wide open.
Oh, wow.
Wide open.
If you're
looking at
if
the
you're
actual
putting gum there,
okay,
and then potentially putting
it back in your mouth. Oh,
all right.
Disgusting.
I think based on this information I can give you, we can narrow it down to 2 suspects. Okay.
John has sources, by the way.
All right.
Okay.
Yesterday, first time in how long have we been in this building, Mace?
18 years.
Okay. For the first time.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah.
For the first time ever in the history. Now, let me preface this by saying I've never seen Steve Mason chew gum.
Nope.
Ever.
I'm not a gum chewer.
Okay.
You have never seen me chew gum.
No, you're not
ever.
a gum chewer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So neither one of us are doing
We're
it.
both cleared.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the first time in 18 years.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I looked down.
Oh, no.
And at my feet.
Oh, no.
Was a used piece of chewing gum.
No!
Right there.
Wait a minute
means, which means
Wait a minute here.
it could only be somebody who was
sat
sitting
in that
in
chair.
That seat.
Yesterday, the person that sat in that chair, and he's been there all week, is one Andy Kamenetsky. You have been the entire time. You've been pointing fingers the other way. You've been accusing others. You've been yelling at Slee for being too.
Is this real?
This has never happened before. And this gum, by the way, the only thing is, Jorge, your gum was what color?
Green.
My color was pink.
Okay.
But okay, so I've worked for years with.
Look at this.
Okay.
Look at this.
Right there.
Oh, that's disgusting.
All right. So the only person it could be other than Andy is Brian Cohen, because he's the only new person that we have here. We know it's not Mason. We know it's not
Why does
Slee.
it have to be a new person? Why could it not be Laura?
Because it hasn't happened in
Laura
years.
Laura was already on the
called
stand.
in at 10:30.
Oh, she was on this. I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
okay.
I wouldn't say she was clear.
Has she been
but-
acquitted?
Okay, so
I think
Well,
she
Slee
has.
was mine. Everyone's acquitted.
All right, so Brian just walked in.
Yeah.
So this could only be based on my new information.
You
Andy
traded me-
Kamenetsky or Brian Cohen.
You traded me for Brian and a piece of gum.
And a piece of gum.
All right.
That was the bonus.
Brian,
It wasn't me.
Brian, first, what say you? When's the last time you chewed gum?
Yesterday, but
Gum yesterday.
I don't
What's your
It's a
favorite
different
flavor
color.
of
What
gum?
color was it yesterday?
green.
That's exactly
It's a light green.
100%.
I swear.
100%.
Here's mine.
Guilty.
Slee, I did it in 5 minutes.
Unbelievable.
There was somebody after me too.
No, it
And
was
so you're telling me
Laura.
Laura
That
left it
happened
there
to be
the whole
chewing
time?
green gum?
All right, no, wait a minute, Brian.
It's
if
a
you-
light green. It's a different color green. I can
All
pull it
right,
out
all
my
right.
backpack right now and show you.
All right, wait a minute. So you have admitted you now have motive. You've screwed yourself.
Yes,
Yeah,
no.
green gum yesterday.
But that, by the way, is an example. You lawyers always tell you never put your client on the
No,
stand.
no. I mean, and by the way, and when you are, you're supposed to say, "I have no recollection." That is what you're supposed to
Now,
say
okay,
over and over again.
So let's assume that Brian's telling the truth and it wasn't him. Andy, how do you explain that there was chewed gum at my feet yesterday right after I sat in the chair? You had been in for 3 hours.
I have no explanation, but as a gum chewer, mine is always blue. It's always blue. I chew the same brand of gum. It is blue.
Sounds like somebody that wants you to think
No,
they
no, no, no,
only
no.
chew blue gum
Well,
would
now,
say.
okay, so now we've determined that both Andy and Brian are gum chewers.
I am a gum chewer.
Okay, so Slee, are you a gum chewer?
This guy, yeah, I chew gum.
All right.
Yeah.
But you've been on that.
You're on
you're
the
on Mason's
captain's
seat
chair.
all week.
But-
Well, I'm on Mason's, and if I'm in here, I'm not going to bring gum. We're doing this.
we're
so
doing
I'm not
this.
gonna-
Right,
Yeah,
which
we're
is
not
I was
gonna
going to
gum.
say one
All
of
right.
my defenses would be as somebody on air, I wouldn't want gum in my mouth. However,
Michael Thompson
That
eats
is
an
wrong.
entire bag
Michael
of
is
chips
his- Michael's
every
his own.
game.
You look what AK's got right there. Why would he? The
Yeah,
guy
every day.
already is eating lunch.
Yeah.
Why would he not just have a
but-
piece of gum?
but
You've had like beautiful fruit all week here. It's like
it
ambrosia.
is beautiful. It is beautiful.
Yeah, for you to make the argument that you would never put something in your mouth because you're on the air, all the evidence is every picture we would
All
take
right,
of
you always bring lunch.
I do.
Always.
You're like an ad for Tupperware.
If anybody's listening, the Locked On Lakers podcast will accept a Tupperware sponsor.
Oh yeah, sure.
But
Ad for Tupperware.
how do you know, though, John,
Tupperware.
that the gum that you just discovered was from yesterday? It could have been from last week when Allen Sliwa
Well, wait a minute.
was
Why
sitting
would-
in this
You're
chair.
telling me it lasted
would
all
say-
week long?
Andy, you know that when we do the changeover, it's you got to like we have 2 minutes to like for
Sure.
Andy to get his stuff out and
Yeah.
for me to get my stuff in. There's no way one of us wouldn't have noticed the gum.
Yes.
It was there yesterday. Somebody did this yesterday, and there's 2 pieces of evidence: the gum at my feet and the gum on Jorge's mouse pad.
there's no
How is
question.
he not a lawyer?
Brian is guilty,
by the way,
guilty,
Slee,
guilty.
this is how I schooled
Not
you
guilty.
in the trial of the century.
You're not wrong.
No, Mace. Based on all the evidence, who is the guilty party?
Brian Cohen.
Oh, come on.
Brian.
Not me.
Guilty,
Green
guilty,
gum is
guilty.
rare.
I'm 100% not guilty.
Green gum, Emily, would you not admit green gum is very rare?
It is very rare. There's very few gums that I can think of that are green, that are besides like maybe spearmint.
Especially neon
But that's
green.
also
It's a different
it was
color green.
It was a big wad of gum too.
Yeah,
What
not me.
color of gum?
Okay, but here's the
Green.
problem.
I'll show you mine right now if you want me
To Brian's defense, if he put the gum there
Right.
during the show, There's a full nother show after
Yeah,
him.
why
somebody would know?
And Laura
it.
didn't see it. Laura didn't see it.
Laura,
I'm free.
No,
Laura never saw
Laura
it.
was on this morning, and she's threatening to have her mom beat up Andy.
Boom, you're not free.
I don't sweat Mrs. Romo.
Yeah.
Well, we're down to a couple suspects here.
I have no question. Brian's
We've
guilty.
narrowed it down to two people, and I think
Even-
I think what did Brian in. Brian, I just watched Primal Fear. All right, I think what did you in like this? That was the tape. Remember they find the video tape when you admitted you not only chewed gum yesterday, but you chewed green gum. Andy, I think you're a free man.
I am a free man.
Right, and by the way, your testimony will be used against you. You are dead meat in front of a trial.
But I want it to be known it's a different green gum that I
Nobody's buying that.
I'll chew it right now. You'll see the
I'll
color.
chew it right now.
Okay, here's another thing that's not going to help his story.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you guys had great sandwiches.
Yes, we did.
The only reason why somebody would take their gum
out was to eat a
take
sandwich.
a bite of a sandwich.
was already gone by then.
I didn't eat a
Andy
sandwich.
was long gone.
You're
think
getting
Andy's been
guiltier by the
exonerated.
minute.
Long gone.
No,
Brian.
I didn't have a sandwich at all in the studio yesterday. Not until after.
Woe is you.
Oh,
I'm going to get you a little baby violin.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
That is so
Jorge,
sad.
Jorge, he's guilty as hell, isn't he?
He admitted color gum.
Committed a crime within his first 2 weeks on Mason and Ireland.
Who would have thought that
But-
Brian Cohen would chew gum and
By
put
the way,
it on a mouse
you're
pad?
no longer allowed to testify in any trials without talking to me
Yeah,
first.
no, seriously.
You incriminated yourself in 10
Fifth-
seconds.
Plead the fifth. Plead
He's,
the fifth.
Sweet James, or someone else say.
Also, I just
Or
want to
Jacob
make
Ronnie.
I just want to make a statement. Laura Romo, my interrogation, it was not personal at
It was
all. It was
business.
just me trying to get to the bottom
Why
of
did
this.
she get all bent?
No, she threatened to have her mom come beat Andy up.
A little bit.
yeah.
She got a little bit.
Mom Romo, look out.
I love and respect Laura. This was just about getting to the bottom of it. That's
And
all.
I think we just did.
Yeah, I
Good
just
police
did.
work requires sometimes.
Although
I want a warrant.
Yeah.
Do you have a warrant?
John, we had 3 hours and 15 minutes to come out. You did it in 6 minutes.
Yeah, but you didn't know
figured it
my new information. I had it narrowed down because I knew it wasn't Emily. I knew it wasn't Jorge. I assumed it wasn't you because you're on that side. And Mason and I don't chew gum. So that left only two possible suspects.
And one admitted it.
And one acknowledged
Brian
it.
and
Exactly.
Andy. And Brian just threw himself under the bus.
All right, we found out who did it. Gumgate looks like it's officially
Yes.
over. AK, thank you for the full week of filling
fun,
in.
man.
T-Raj back next week. Super Crosstalk is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger, that's what a hamburger is all about. Mason and Ireland coming up next.
Yes, you